What up? We are live. So, over the weekend, I wasn't streaming, mostly because I was watching my kids half the time, but still able to just watch like every single YouTube video there was on trim sheets, and then try to make them. I made them like made like four different ones, and they didn't work. And then finally, by whatever fifth time I tried to do it, I actually figured out how it works, and it's like pretty straightforward once you do, but man, it was real confusing for a while, and that's with like a ton of different tutorials out there. But that being said, I'll be using them and making a lot of them pretty soon. So I'm working on the roads, working on the sidewalks, and we're going to put the sidewalks and roads around the prefabs we've made. So like you'll just basically spawn out an entire house with sidewalks around it. You'll spawn out an entire warehouse that has like warehouse sidewalks. And those are going to be the first ones we release probably this week for PC. This is the first time I think PC is going to release separately than the Mac version, because the Mac version has a lot of issues apparently. But I don't know how to fix. I'm going to just do my best though. Head over to the old Mac behind me and give it a shot. I have no idea what's wrong with it, but a lot of Mojave people are crashing, and Catalina, I just need to double check that we're like actually putting out a 64-bit Mac version. Furnitures. Like starting it off here. Rats. That's stuff I'll never be able to make on my own. I don't know about never, but I have like, I don't really care about vehicles, people, or like animals. But when it comes to materials and all the sets and like level art stuff, that I want to make completely. Because like that's like what the future of the program is to just get really good at making that stuff and then continue to release that. In my opinion, that's like the longevity of it. So I got to set it up for like the long-term win. This is pretty cool. My stuff isn't that much higher poly. Actually, it's not much higher poly at all. That's the whole thing with trim sheets. Once you do them correctly, is you do model it like super low poly, but it comes out looking a lot higher. I'm gonna go to Decagon real quick. I realize I'm get. Oh yeah. Oh my. Yeah. So like, I am getting fairly proficient at something that is pretty obscure skill-wise. Like, not that many people care about this. I realize. I mean, like, basically, like, level artists, which is, like, a whole subsect of level production artists. Not the level designers, but, like, the people who actually sit here and make this. Because I've been looking for people on social media that, like, talk about this and they're, like, excited about it. There's not many. I think on Instagram there's a total of, like, 100 posts that are, like, hashtag trim sheets. I'm all about it. Fucking subscribe to those. No one else cares. It's not the fun part. It's really not. It is a pain in the ass. But like, if you don't get it, you're literally in the dark, like I was for the last like year and a half, trying to figure out. I was like, how do you make this stuff look so good? Like, and I would look at their materials. I was like, those are really weird. Like, how come the material is laid out like that? Like, what are they doing? So yeah, when you look at the low poly, they're just like cubes. They're not doing anything special. It's not like super high poly stuff on there at all. You know, basically like square edge rectangles. Maybe there's a little bit. You could throw like a little boolean on there for like a. These aren't hero props, but you know, things that the character's gonna get right up against. Yeah, see that? I bet you that they don't show the material. You know, I need to start to look at these and be able to reverse engineer the trim sheet essentially. That's my new goal in life. Seamless materials pretty much got that. That's pretty straightforward. But like producing a laundromat, like a laundry machine at this level, it seems like it's super boring to some degree. But like even these are probably trims, right? Like sidewalks are definitely trims, and then these little curbs. I got to make all these things. But then the beauty is, you make them once, and then you can basically reskin them just going into Substance Painter and then like generating a new trim sheet. You have a whole new set. It kind of depends. What's up, student Gary Smith? So I own all these Decagon kits. I'm not going to be using them anymore. But they served as really good stand-ins. And just being able to see what like high quality, like, you know, pretty much, yeah, I think we can consider Decagon stuff AAA. Just to see what that looks like up close was really helpful. While I was designing other systems, but now I'm into this. I want to be able to make this on my own. I'm gonna go to Instagram real quick. Like there's like this is gonna be like I don't think anyone's gonna give a fuck about the stuff that I'm making now, but like has to happen. They'll like the end result. My users will like the end result once we have good locations, but like if you look up like trim sheet, there's 147 posts. So there's nothing. It's insane. I follow this person. I just started follow like there's like Tim who does these tutorials on these on everyone follows them. And then there's like one other person that like publicly posts this stuff. I think maybe because it's either obscure or it's kind of like industry secrety. As another vibe I kind of get from this stuff is like there's some like there's still a little bit of that with games, but it's a mix of it being like kind of like industry secret or trade secret, and also just like people don't care because it's too deep in the weeds of it. I am making a game, yeah. So he's the only person on Instagram that I know that's been posting this stuff. So I'm gonna make these exact two things, to be honest, and it's hard to see, but there's like the trim sheet starts with this metal part here, which he's using for oh no, that's down there. But there's these metal straps or like bands, and that's down here. For each one of these like kind of like planks, there's a plank material down here. And then there's like these bigger squares where these are they're not seamless. You don't even have to do seamless tiling, which is cool. This part kind of seamlessly tiles, but this particle board is the under part, and then this flatter wood part is here. And there's different sizes. And what I didn't realize, because I was trying to follow the ultimate trim sheet style, which doesn't work because they're using like base 2 numbers, is that it's basically like you UV unwrap your model, and then you place them like in a row, and then you make the ones tile that need to and make the ones that don't, and then you also bake in the bevel. And so I played Session for like 2 hours, and I was just staring at the set, like the location. I was like, how the hell are they making this stuff look like this? I could kind of see it, but now I see it. I know how to build sets like that. It's going to take me months before I can do that, but I now at least understand how it works, like technically, and I can build these Blender, Substance, ZBrush, Unreal Engine. So you have to know a lot of programs to do this well. This one's super hard. Like for me, I still look at this and I'm like overwhelmed by it. But that's his trim sheet. Like I don't know where the legs are, and I don't know the sizes of these, and because this is a perfect example of what I would love to model at that quality. I think I could model it, but when you get into game production, you know, your UVs and your trim sheet and your model, everything has to be like thinking the same thing. And before I would just model it, I had no idea really what to do with it. I just substance painter it, and it's like doesn't matter, like whatever. But this is the most efficient way. Like you get huge texture resolution on the model, and then, you know, if he was like, oh, I want to go make like a blue one, you could hook up the texture with a color mask in the material instance. He's like, I don't like the stripes anymore. Right? You just change this one stripe, and then all the model updates already, and you can kind of you can do a lot with it. And also adding procedural dirt to it at runtime is very easy if you trim sheet it this way. You just put like a seamless dirt material over this thing and just fade it up. Same with water. And you have your textures all facing up, essentially, so you kind of know, you might cheat it around a little bit, but you know where up is, basically, for every face. It's incredible. And it's like super satisfying, like from an OCD perspective. Like I could almost... And I saw someone makes like a trim sheet. I went and downloaded everything trim sheet related. Anything you can buy and watch on trim sheets on the internet, I went and did this weekend. I bought a ton of stuff. Watched a lot of stuff. I bought the Substance Painter trim sheet plugin. I bought the Substance Designer one, same person. He has a Blender plugin for trim sheets that match it up. And I just like went through all of that stuff, and I was like, oh, I finally get it. Like, because trim sheets are UVing, and you can code the UVing process at that point. It's like it completes the circle. I don't know if there's much more to know about level art than that, because I feel like I pretty much have like that understood, and not into like trees and leaves and stuff. I'm sure that's like its whole own thing. But for like hard surface level art, other than the architecture part, because you could, you know, you never finished learning architecture. But this is the trim sheet for this one, or that's how it got UV'd. I don't know if that's the final one. I forget. I think it is. But it all comes to a head here with like these roads. It's like if I was before this, I was individually. Well, you still individually UV them. I was making them, and there might be like 10 of these, 10 different variations. I would have 10 different texture sets because that's all I knew how to do. And I could tell at this point moving forward, I was like, that's going to be really bad for performance because I care about that now. I was like, every single one of these roads should use the same exact texture sheet. And that's what I finally got this thing up and running. And then now I can generate the like a road, like a parking curbs and like cement barriers and like planters. Just like in Session, it's like that whole area. You could build an entire like level, and it's like one trim sheet or two or something like that. That's that. And it's good for performance. It's good for continuity, and it's good for me because I don't have to UV and high poly sculpt all this stuff constantly. You build the first trim sheet, and it's just like math after. And Blender's really good at this. But I mean, Maya's still better, but like Blender's has almost. I think it has like all the tools I really need to do that. Because this piece was kind of tricky to UV at first. Good way to do DIY anamorphic lens. If you're DIY and anamorphic don't go together. Anamorphic's expensive on every front. The lenses are heavier. You have to stop down more. The focus is shallower, so you need to pull focus better. You need bigger sets because you're further away. The distortion's more pronounced. So again, you need bigger sets to be on longer lenses to have it not look terrible. Like everyone's defaulting to like 25mm, 35mm anamorphic lenses because they're shooting it like it's spherical. Don't do low-budget anamorphic. It's not worth it. It's a filmmaking video game. I use a 2080 Ti. Texture atlas are good for static objects. Static objects? What do you mean objects that don't like change their... Oh, like that don't change, that don't like deform like skeletal meshes, that sort of thing. I get that, yeah. Yeah, it took me a long time. You know, I don't come from games, obviously. Like I'm from the film industry, but I did do 3D for a while, but I never like... UVing is actually pretty recent that I started UVing things like within the year. I've been doing this game for like 2 years. But it is relatively new that I UV things. And if you don't understand UV, you definitely cannot trim sheet anything because it's like they are related. And where are my materials? What am I looking at right now? I must have renamed them. Oh yeah, I've been trying to do the right naming conventions for Unreal Engine. It's supposed to be like T dash, so I think or T underscore. I think I renamed them, so I can't find them. It's okay. So let me take a peek at what I did do. Where's the Unreal Engine? Here it is. So this is the trim sheet in Engine, and I kept seeing people post these things, and I'd be like, "What is this? Like, why would you do that? Like, I don't get it." And not only did I not get it, I didn't know how the hell you made those either. But now I got this shit. The tricky part is still nuanced. No, you have to know how you're gonna 3D model it before you make the trim sheet. That's the tricky part. You have to be like so dialed it, which I could do for some of this stuff because I've modeled a lot of this before. But like, yeah, you basically have to know how you're going to 3D model it before you make the trim sheet. So that's the part that was like I was not ready for that back in the day. Back in the day, being like a month ago. I did not know how I was going to model these things. So if you don't know like the breakout of like how big your bevels are and like you know, generally how you're going to approach doing the proportions, you can't really make the trim sheets. But for me, this is a successful set here. There's still a couple little issues with like the applying the UVs of the trim sheet after. That gets like really technical, but for now I'm just gonna let the edges be kind of like frayed like they are. I have modeled these sidewalks about like 5 times, something like that. That's not like a lot. I'm sure level artists have made them hundreds and hundreds of times. Like if you are you're the level artist that makes streets, but that's part of what you make at your game studio, you're gonna be doing this a lot. Where does a shadow go? Oh, I see, we're front lighting it. So I've done these enough that I was like, I generally know the approach. I have some new things I want to try, like the fact that this curb goes down and then comes back up. I didn't really do that before. I didn't have like time, quote unquote. Now I do. Now I have to. I'll sit here until this looks right because this is my road set forever, for a while. But these are like, this is a square. This is just one square. There's no bevels on it. There's nothing, and the normal map takes care of that. It makes this edge look like it is beveled. Looks like that. I know this is just like normal video game shit, but like I didn't have this under control. I was like half painting it in Substance Painter and then trying to do it in ZBrush too, and I was like, there's a lot of programs that all have to talk to each other to get this end result. This isn't perfect. These are like as generic as I can make them. These are just right off of the Substance Painter shelf. I just wanted to see if it would work. But this piece, same texture sheet, same trim sheet. So I can go build like 4 more like different types of variations for this. Oops. That's not the way. All using the same material, which is going to help for performance. Just today, I emailed someone back or DM'd them back. They're like, I'm using an integrated. This is always the case. It's like MacBook Pro, like 1 gigabyte integrated GPU. That's what they got for memory. I'm like, we must optimize. That's like one of my core users is like they have like the worst gaming laptops. So we are on the optimize, and they're also everything's 2K. I was authoring at 4K because I thought that was like cool. I was like, let's make 4K textures. It's gonna look so good. Yeah, but my core user uses a MacBook Pro Air, a MacBook Pro and MacBook Air, and like an iMac. And like for real, they just want to use iPad Pros now. So we're on the optimize. I think these are okay on MacBook, on an iPad Pro if there's not too many. iPad Pro is super strong. It's like stronger than a Switch, like. Or a Quest, but this forces that issue and is kind of what I've been working on like for a while. So I'm pretty happy to have trim sheets unlocked. It did require me to just like kind of zone out of the world and just consume everything with the word trim sheet on it. I bought and watched this weekend, and I finally get it. I should make a tutorial on it for myself and for others too. These aren't meant to go up here, but they can. Okay, so I'm gonna go stick these, and YouTube stuck me with the child actor, Unreal Engine child actor tutorial this morning. I was like, fast forwarded through that whole thing. That was very good timing, because like that's the child actor component is like how this new update works. It's yeah, trim sheets and this, it's like completely fixes the game like on every front that I've had issues with. I think all the solutions I need are basically from those two things, performance wise. What's up, Quattro? I'm new to games too. I did a job for 3 months in an Android game studio, so I had to look into performance. Oh god, yeah. Haven't touched Blender for more than a month. Were you using Blender at that studio, or were you using something else? At this point, Blender's the move for like static meshes, and I can't really say it for UVing, but for like just static meshes, it's a lot of fun. For sculpting, I still go back to ZBrush, and for like character rigging, I would still go back to Maya though, especially for motion builder. So oh yeah, let me add these to the prefabs, and we'll go look at them, and I'm gonna make more sidewalks. How fun! But I don't have to paint it. I don't have to do anything. I just have to UV them to the trim sheet now, like a boss. I'm the other person that feels cool about doing that, but I don't care. I feel cool about it. I get real deep into whatever industry I'm in at the time. I've been in a couple. I nerd out on that shit. Oh yeah, see, we're gonna place that with actual pieces now. I was obsessed and quite good at shooting hip-hop videos for quite a while. Oh shit. How come they all disappeared at once? What the hell? That seems like a bug. Did I move them? They moved. They like jumped on me. That's like, well, you're getting deleted, so they tried to hide. You're going away. I don't know what that was. So this is like abusing the child actor system. Wait, what the fuck is this? What the hell happened? I don't want to undo because I'm afraid of it. I'm not undoing. I'll move these ones. It's not healthy for anybody to move more than one of these at once. Like 2 at once is okay, but like even on this computer, you grab like 5 of these and try to move them. That's not gonna work out. So I didn't realize you could do child actor templates. My god. That fixes another problem for Academy mode. Unreal Engine has all the tools. You just need to find them. And be ready to receive the information. Because if you told me about this kind of... You told me about trim sheets like 2 months ago. I would have been like, what the fuck does that mean? I have no idea. Like, same with like, I don't know, like 6 months ago. If you told me you could template the child actor, I'd be like, who cares? Like, what does that even mean? But now, as I am ready to receive this information and push this update very soon, all these things are very important. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to write this like super heavy, like a knit function. I actually already wrote it. You can just expose the defaults right here. Fucking magical. That's incredible. I was writing all these like inits. I have to do that. What is this? That's the original scene function. I'm going to delete these out. These pieces. So, I don't know what happened. What the fuck is that? I know what it is. They're nested. And I'm deleting the transform. That's what's happening. It was clever. I put them inside of this. Okay, let's pull these out. That's what's happening. Okay. So this is too many child actors, but I'm gonna push it. I want to ask Epic if I went and visited Epic like a month ago or something like that, but like I didn't get to. It was like they busy. They're doing a lot of initiatives happening at once. But like I really want to sit with like some of the Fortnite level people. I ask about just like best practices about some of this like creative mode stuff that I'm kind of building here. I might not be like, again, ready to receive the information that a senior like Epic Games level artist would tell me, but I'm interested. I want to talk shop on like, you know, snapping dimensions and like concepts for snapping, because there's a lot I've realized, and then also stuff like this. And what the base class of something like this should should actually look like, and if this is actually how they do it from Fortnite. This has been like an exercise in trying to reverse engineer Fortnite creative for my purposes. Okay, so if I delete this, it's in the root. It should not just like dance. Yeah, that was my mistake. That was my bad. I mean, that was not an expected result that deleting a child actor would like reset all of their transforms like that. I still don't understand it, but wait, how do you do this? Control. So I'm gonna try to move 4 at once. It's not so bad. Okay. You know, we just turned the computer on, so we're doing okay. My next computer is gonna be like stupid. Like it's gonna be like really dumb with how powerful I'm gonna make it. Cause like stuff like this is like infinite. It's like it doesn't matter how much power you put in it, you need it. You need it for this shit. Megascans, I have a project called Megascans Dump now, and I was just putting everything in there at like full LOD and just like rendering stuff out of sequencer. That's rough. I wasn't streaming. I was like using the full computer. That takes a lot of computer. I want many terabytes of RAM on my next computer. I don't know if you could have many. I'll take as much as possible at that point. Put these back in here. So that was fun redoing work. It's always fun to redo things because you did it wrong in the beginning. So now we're going to change those out with sidewalks, and I should probably name them correctly. You can create different quality settings, compress the textures, stay at 2K. Yeah, I'm not doing like the quality switches yet in the materials. I'm just going to go 2K. And then just try to keep things to trim sheets as much as I can and control it like that. At a certain point, I am going to have to... There's like feature ones like SM4 and E. I still don't exactly know those, but the issue will be hard pressed as soon as I start pushing this to iPad. And then we're going to have to really come face to face with the optimizations. That's why there's no windows in any of these anymore. Like no glass. It's just like no transparency. That's like... Gonna get rid of all the transparency now. No one needs it. Not no one, but unless you're on one of the 20s, you're not turning ray tracing on anyway. Though maybe the new version's better. I don't know. There's all these new GI. There's like a whole new set of ray tracing things I haven't tried yet, but I gotta get this first. Now, where is this child actor? Where'd you go? Blocks? There it is. Okay. I'm gonna make a new folder called Roads. It's that time. Roads. Put all the old road systems in there and name these so we don't have to change them again anytime soon. And sidewalks too. Where are these sidewalks? Sidewalk. We only have one. This is good. Okay. Gonna move these into my roads folder. Move. I'm gonna delete the wet one. I think I unfortunately mismarketed and misrepresented that. I showed the user base making this like shiny material in Substance Painter, and I think they thought that I was doing it in game, and I was like, oh no, that's not possible, not yet. I mean, I could fake it, I could do something like that, but it's like, yeah, you can't Substance Painter them in here, not at runtime anyway. I could fake it, I could make it look like you were doing that, but you're not gonna actually do it. Okay, so let's grab this sidewalk and this corner. Boom. You were using Blender there? That's cool. I mean, save the money. Working and making game UI. Next we'll be back to the... I'm starting a game studio with friends. Oh yeah, that's cool. RIP your friendship though, right? That's gonna be... That's a quick way to test things. That's cool. That's what I'm honestly looking to do. I mean, I don't know when. I don't know if it's this project either. Probably not. This is like my tutorial. This is like me. This is my... No, hold on. We gotta hit this. Okay, so this is the first time. This should work. If it doesn't, you know, I've made some miscalculations. Wow, we're really high in the air or something. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Yeah. See, I'm like making a creative mode, so I don't get to just like... I mean, I started my like actual video game, which is like the Academy, where like in level design, as long as I know what I'm doing, I can make it work. But I'm like designing a level editor for other people, so I have to make the rules like perfect for them, and I can't be like, oh, just bring all these up 10. That doesn't work. I don't know how I'm gonna fix this. Well, this is why we're doing it. I've kind of given myself a week to finish the PC version. The Mac version is whenever I fix the Mac version. So I will be pushing the PC version like by like Friday or something like that. It's about like random deadline. But yeah, I would love to start like a... I don't really want to make games, so to speak, but I like building gamified apps a lot. And I think there's a lot of need for that. Because it requires a lot of different skills to make a gamified app. It's a lot different than a game, and it's a lot different than an app. It's like building video games for people that don't normally get to play video games. That's kind of fun. They tend to be VR at this point too, talking like training simulators and stuff like that. I was like, you're actually helping people with this. It's not just like, I had a rough week and now I want to kill things on my computer. It's like, actually helping people with their job stuff. Yeah, so we do have, we're going to spawn this out as a prefab. We are currently running into like what I call the Fortnite issue. It's really my understanding of Fortnite. I'm sure their system deals with it. I might have to go look at it real quick, how they handle this. But I'm trying to make this like dead simple. Like underneath the hood is like, I'm doing all the trim sheets. I'm doing all the modular modeling. I'm doing all that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to dump all the Megascans textures and just go make my own, even if they're not like as good. It's part of the process. Like if you're not generating the textures, then you're not really thinking about the texel density probably when you're modeling them and you're UVing them, and you're not really in control of like what's a trim, what's a tiling texture. Like, yeah, I think I got to dump all these. I got to dump all these Megascans textures, make my own. Just do the full level art. And this is like this is fun for me because I was a cinematographer for a very long time, and that's a tough profession. And many times I thought about quitting. A lot of times. And I was like, I would love to go into production design. I would love to build sets, like more like the construction department on a big movie. I would love to like build the sets and help design them for the movies and the TV shows. And so this is like my virtual version of that. So like I get to kind of like, this is like my master's program. Maybe it's more like undergrad. Maybe it's more like high school level. High school level learning of like architecture. And then applying it instantly into like making modular game pieces. So I'm like, I get to simplify architecture down to modular game environments and just study that. That's like my current thing, and I like it. And I feel like I like doing that. I want to do this for a long time. I want to do this for like years. Just like get really, really solid at making environments, making all these pieces, like do it in my sleep, teach it, like really just know this. On top of like, the basic video game stuff I can do. Okay, we gotta delete this one. Where are you? Cool. So those are the new roads. There's issues already. I mean, that's the sidewalk. It is kind of like designed to be commercial. And if I don't like this texture, which I don't, and I think these tiles are too big, those tiles are fake. That's all texture tiles, all fake shit. I could just change them all at once, which I'm probably gonna do. Hey. Boop. There they go. You got to technically do that to the building, but I'm not gonna. So, these are trims. This is like the definition of a trim, and so is this. And I didn't know what trim sheets were when I made this, and I didn't know how to model them, and I was lost. I was like, I get what this is. Like, I kind of understand it. But I'm gonna redo this with actual trim sheets, and then I can make like, this is a trim sheet too, this bricky thing. But I didn't make the seamless. I didn't make this. This is a Megascans brick, which is really nice, but it's like I need the control over it. I need to be able to go back into the Substance Designer file, regenerate it at the texel density I need. It doesn't work to do it, to mix and match that stuff. Very grateful for it though, for all this, all the time up until now with all the prototyping. Okay, so this is this guy here. Plop this out. Boom! Whole situation pops out. All right. This industrial set needs a lot of loving, but we're gonna do it. This is like gonna be good. So we got the roads, just come right onto it. It kind of shows you like how you should be doing it, and then because they're child actors, you could just delete them. It's like they're in the world. They are slightly different in this state, but once you load and save the game, they're just regular actors. Like child actors basically are regular actors. They just get spawned out and stuck under the transform. I don't think there's any actual link to the class above it. I mean, you could have the bigger class, like the super class, talking to them, I guess. But like for me, it's just a container. It truly is a prefab. So yeah, that's what I wanted to test. Is just that, and I got to make I can take that same mesh and turn it into like a residential set, kind of like what this house is showing in the thumbnail. You can't see it. Those are my old curbs and street systems. Pre-trim sheet. It would have been like a whole like redo to make that work. Oh, I don't need that anymore actually. But yeah, there's our first little mini warehouse to kind of, or whatever this is. I think I called it like an industrial. I don't have the. I'm gonna make the. Actually, I have a couple shelves. I could like pre-dress it too, but it's just to show that like this is what maps are now. We bring it all out. You don't have to build, like, if you don't want to like build it, you don't have to. But like at a certain point, you're going to want to. I think most people will. Start bringing these over here. I don't have to do that. I could just do this one. So this is a not. This is too short. Like or too. Roads are not this far apart. That's like some like. It's like a. I don't know. The roads aren't this wide. I designed this to be 2, so they're 800 centimeters, and so they should probably be like 1,000. But they're basically. I made the roads about 400 pieces wide, so that's how it goes. Do you make textures in Substance Painter? Oh, I sure as hell do. My background is engineering away from game design. Now I'm into it. Have you played Gary's Mod or No Man's Sky? Oh yeah, I played No Man's Sky a lot. I beat the story mode and looked into the building, and like their terrain editor is voxel based. Like Astroneer. And I thought that was like the right approach for my thing, but I actually think that like modifying the environment is a little bit too advanced for the user time wise. So I'm gonna go Fortnite style with the environment, and I really do think that's the best way to go, is modular. And just give enough pieces and give enough prefabs. We will see. Like I made this one the other day, and this needs a trim sheet real bad, which I'll be doing. But like this is just like these are all modular pieces in here that you can add yourself. It's this one, so we could like turn it 90. I just gonna make the corner version of it. And this whole thing's a trim sheet. I mean, some of these are gonna be like, nah, this whole shit's a trim sheet. Except for like these are probably like, you know, on their own. But like, I'm gonna try to get this entire set minus the floor and ceiling to be a trim. I mean, the floor probably could be too. The floor and ceiling is probably one trim, and the walls are their own, with all the variations being the same one. So you can build a very big set, have the variations happening. You're talking about loading up 2 materials. That's what I want from these sets. It's like I'm gonna build like 50 pieces. Probably not 2 trim, maybe like 4 trims and like, you know, 2 seamless ones. Like this is not a trim, it's just a big face. One big seamless pattern. But that would be the goal. And I think that's like how video games work, but I never quite jumped on board with that. I was just like, until you start considering performance, you're like, why would I reuse textures? Fuck it, just make lots of them. That's how I thought anyway, until like a month ago. It's good though. It's just the progress. So yeah, made this situation, trim sheeted it. So the next thing to make is I used to do photogrammetry. I used to make my own textures from photos and whatnot. Like but that kind of sucks. There's a lot of problems with that as well. Photogrammetry is really good, but there's a lot of issues with like capturing reflectance and black and stuff, and it's like, I think in the end procedural is still stronger. You know, obviously photogrammetry is used and whatnot, but like you lose a lot of control. But you get a certain amount of realism. At the end of the day, you're typically going back into ZBrush and cleaning it up. Anyway, but I need to make a cement texture for the road so I can finish that up. And let me get my textures back on this thing. What happened here? So how do you get a new one? I need to get my trim sheet back in Blender so I can see it. Where'd you go? It went away. What's up, Retro? The construction site props? Yeah, I'll be making them if we want those. Which, I'm building warehouse stuff, so it's like, you know. Nothing from the marketplace goes in this game anymore. Except for like, what did I say? Like animals, vehicles, and like people. But people's gonna be its own thing too, obviously. Like our people's system needs to get controlled. I have a couple concepts, but I'm sure it's gonna take me like 4 or 5 times to try those all out before they actually work. Roads, textures, trim sheet. None of this shit anymore. Like it's just we just come out of here, and there'll be just trim variations. So color makes things so much easier. Like so much easier. And the UVing. I'm gonna go UV something right now. Is like, it's like fun. I like it. It's like this like really fairly difficult puzzle, but it's fun. I like doing it. So here's the normal. I don't load up the ORM in Blender. I could, but so this is the trim sheet. How come I don't see it over here? I use the trim normal. Okay, those are like dead references or something. We need to clear those. So this it? There it is. So that's the trim normal, which is what I UV to. And because I modeled this and I like to work at base 10, I set up my trim sheet to be in base 10. So I can literally just like hit the UV and I can type in how you UV. I can just type it. It's crazy. So this is using that one, and I'm going to make a curb. A parking curb. Super, super interesting here. But like this person is real good. I'm gonna get here. I'm gonna get to this level. I can make these trim sheets. I don't quite. I haven't made thin trim sheet stuff yet. Like this is like 100, right? Like if you cut this right in half, 100, 100. Actually, it's not. Is it the middle? Yeah, it is the middle. So this is 100, 100, and then you know, like that 40, 20, 40, 20, like 20, something like that. And these are like 10, 10. I haven't made these 10 thin ones yet, nor have I UV'd them. I haven't UV'd something like this. But this could... Oh, is my phone ringing? Oh shit, who's this? Huh. This shit is a candidate for the first thing I build in Houdini. You can almost do this procedurally in Blender. Like, I do all the beveling procedurally now. I like edge weight them, and the bevel, I can go back after and just type it in. It's like, I want this big of a bevel. Like, say I want a bigger bevel there, and I want more subdivisions, or like any of that stuff. It's all just like procedural into the trim sheet high poly. But I could do this entire process procedurally in Houdini. Like the baking, everything. Everything could be... For this stuff, it's all strips. It's all boxes. This could 100% be a Houdini graph. And then I could change the trim sheet in Unreal Engine. Versus having to even go back to Substance Painter or something. I used to have to go to Substance Painter, but... Anyway, I got sidetracked. What the fuck am I doing? I want to look up parking curb. Fun. But so necessary. You want to make like any exterior with parking lots, you know... Parking curb dimensions US really like, and you know, there we go. They got the knowledge here. Yeah, that fun boy. We're gonna use the trim sheet. This is actually tricky on this part. This part's tricky right there. Okay, so what dimensions are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Yeah, I know. The standard Century parking curb is, curbs are 5 inches by 9 inches by 6 feet. Well, there it is. I'll take it. Oh, they even got the call out here. Now, I feel like the parking curbs that I don't have a back. It's just flat, but whatever. So we're talking like... You know what I mean? Like, they don't have the back, though? Like, I'm gonna look at some pictures of these things. I don't know, Century parking curb. I don't know about you. I guess that makes it more usable. You know, I thought there'd be more pictures. Oh, look at all the different types of curbs there are. Architecture mold. 6x4 curb. Angled. 6x6 curb. These are curbs. These aren't parking curbs. Oh, I guess they do have bevels on both sides. Well, we'll be beveling both sides then. That's a nice easy object for me to try to trim sheet UV. Hooray. What is it? 9 by 5 by what? I mean, that picture tells me, but I still forgot though. And I lost the link to it. Oh well. 6 feet wide is what I really care about. The rest is just due to eye. 6 feet. 6 feet. What's that rounded into centimeters? I'm not too proud. 180. I don't like that. Actually, I'm okay with 180 because this has to snap into the system. This has to snap into the road system I'm making. So I could call it 180, which is, you know, basically it's a 200 snap then. 200, 400, 400 snapping, and this would snap into place every single time. Like, I don't even want the user to have to be like, oh, it's like this far from the curb. You're going to literally just take it out. It just snaps right where it should be. And you just have to decide basically how many are there. So this all has to go together. So we're going to do 180 by 20 centimeters. I'm going to round it up. What is, they said 9 for the height? No, 9 for the width. What is 9 inches? 20, so we're rounding down. There it is. It's 180 by 20 by 20. That's what it's going to be. And we'll use this trim sheet. So, it's not what I meant to do. We in edit mode, and thus it begins. Cube friend N. We said it's going to be on X 180, which is 1.8 by 0.2 by 0.2. Damn, mannequin's a tall boy. See, that seems like way too small for me, but I'm like probably up to here on this guy. And yeah, so Q freeze the transforms, GZ 0.1 Bring it up. We'll keep it centered. I'm going to do the repositioning in Blueprint, which is how I should have always done it. Oh well. I'm going to be making like a million things in the next couple months, so we'll just... Everything stays centered. And so it's literally a bevel on this edge. It'll be interesting. I haven't made something like this yet with the trim sheet style. So let me just make sure that we're frozen. I'm gonna freeze again because we moved up on the axis. Yeah, so now we're frozen. These two boys, and so let me look at this profile again. Like it's pretty much like it's like a little. It's a 3:2 ratio, so it's kind of at the top. What is 3 2/5? So it's the top 2/5. So what is that in 20ths? I'll just eyeball it. I think I can figure it out. It's like that. Feels a little bit barnish, like too tall. What's going on here? It's shorter than it is tall. I don't really want to come off of the 2020 thing, but it's a square. It's too tall, like in proportion. And so what was this bevel? Let's do 0.05. It's like not enough. It's just too tall. The whole thing should come down to like, what is it? 5 inches? It's 12, so 10. I guess I could round it down to 10. That's not so. That's a big difference to bring this all the way down there. I guess I should do that. It doesn't look like a parking curb. It looks not parking curby. So GZ negative 0.1. Yeah, but what? That doesn't look good though. What? Really? I don't know. I know I didn't grab the back, but we rounded this wider. Okay. I mean, the height probably doesn't really matter. I just try to keep... Here's the thing. If you keep to the rules of, like, your normal dimensions, your trim sheet always works without having too much distortion. But in this case, I mean, you know, from above, you probably don't give a... It doesn't fucking matter. Like, yeah. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, nah, it's too tall. It's going to drive me crazy. It's too tall. Or is it okay? I don't know. I can't tell. Is this height ever going to matter? Nothing snaps to the top of a curb. It's just like a... It's a medium level prop, like in detail. So I guess we're just gonna... Okay, we gotta start selecting through. Is my snapping on? I need to get out of this mode. Oh, I like the Blender modeling tools at this point. Not fast at them, but I like them. GZ control, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, you know, I could put the top at like 10 and then round the rest of them. I'm okay with something like this. I always knew my OCD modeling parametric tendencies would work out in the end for something, and it's for trim sheets. Now, this is a pain in the ass to trim sheet this one, but I'm going to try it. This is the first time I'm doing something like this. All my things have been like literally boxes. That's very simple. So I'm going to try to put this on the trim sheet now. Okay. So, your material... I should name the material to this. Okay, I'm going to call this trim. I'm going to call this sidewalk trim. Okay. So, I'm not really worried about textile density just yet. It's more like just reusing this. Like, this curb is that, right? So I shouldn't have to make like a new piece or even high poly it. What do I think about the new version of Blender? I like 2.8. Do you mean 2.81? I haven't tried it. Some people are on like 2.82. I'm not that adventurous. Okay, so part 1 is this. Let's turn off the back. Okay, so I'm going to project from view. Then I'm going to pack. Okay, I'm going to switch to this thing. Pack it. This is where I textile density from. Even though I have the textile density plugin, I don't really... For this stuff, I don't really need it. I need to make sure this is currently upside down, right? It's coming in the bottom. So there is like a flip tool, but then I realized you could just write R180. That's faster. So there we go. And because the same exact person modeled this, who made this trim, this is a known number. So process again. I'm going to click this thing because I'm going to write this Houdini script eventually. This face projected, I call that normalized. I think it flipped it on me. Hold on. Yeah. Normalize it, which you can just write that to scale this while keeping the aspect. Make sure this is not on. Do this one more time. Project from view, pack, without that on. It's currently oriented correctly from the view. And then this is a number, like this is GY like 0.5 or something. And it's not. That's because this is 10. We're scaling it to 10. Huh. Because it's not 20 tall. Those are 20. So the aspect is off. So I could either scale it. I was trying to do this parametrically, like only typing, but I'm going to eyeball it for now. But anyway, it's because this is a trim for something that's 20 tall by the full width. This is not even the full width. So yeah, we have a texel density issue. But I'm going to put it there. Oh, and this is where the Blender hotkeys are like life. It's so for this one, GX to there, you know, in the trim part. And then this part, GX without even the gizmo to there. And I'm gonna take this part, zoom way in, GY to here. And you're supposed to like border it. I don't really have I don't have a feel for that yet. The offset here determines like the slope of the bevel, and I didn't do 45-degree ultimate trim bevels. I did like rounded bevels that I made in Blender. So it's not like this is not like the perfect trim sheet yet, but even that I'd love to be able to change that parametrically all at once, which I could do it piece by piece. Like I didn't bake the bevel into the mesh, but it's not parametric by any means. Now this is a little bit close to the bottom. I think it's even too far. Like I think it's on the wrong side. So this is basically what allows the very hard edge of this to look soft, is that. So that's that first piece there. So I don't have to make a high poly. I don't need to go regenerate the cement thing. I could just keep reusing this thing over and over again. Okay, there's someone told me there's like a project from face view. Oh, no. You select the face, and then there's something you could do with the camera where you like put the view to the face. But then it fucks everything up kind of crazy. What is that hotkey again? Is it 7? No. 8? 9? I don't know. Is it 9? No. There's a hotkey that like moves the camera to be normal to this. But you could also just probably... Hold on. Let me make sure we're scaled. We are. Okay. We could just unwrap it probably too. Just unwrap. Sure. I'll just hope that didn't distort it. Looks fine. So then we got... So if you don't project from view, then you have to guess about the angle, like of the orientation. So that's why I tend to do it from view. It just saves me a step. So this is currently... So it takes me a second. It's upside down. That's why I project from view. I don't have to think about anything. So let's pack it. Don't rotate it. So we have the orientation, and yeah, that's the length of that is trigonometry, right? So we're not gonna have that's not gonna be like in there. But I'll just use the same face again. So same thing goes down here. What's up, Jim? I don't use pure F now. I got multiple monitors. An error occurred. I think we're okay. I hope. I don't know. You're on 2.81? I'm not on that yet. Do I continue on Cinema 4D? And can we use Octane Render in UE4? 2 questions. I guess you can. I don't really understand using other renderers in Unreal Engine, but apparently people do that. I don't get it. But yeah, I guess there's like a free version of it or something. I don't care. I don't use that. But I guess that's possible. What was the other thing? I don't use Cinema anymore. No, I'm gonna go to Houdini pretty soon. And this trim sheet, I'm gonna make a Houdini trim sheet generator for stuff like this. And I'm gonna put it into Unreal Engine, and I don't even have to go back to Houdini. I just do it all in Unreal. That doesn't really help me, but it'll be a fun test. Like this, I don't need to make this by hand. That's a waste of time. It should just be like, how many rows? What are the columns? You know, how much bevel do you want on the side? Does it tile or not? This is a tiled one. This is a seamless one. I can write that as just one script. And then bake the low poly, like do all of it in Houdini. All the low polying, the retopo. You don't have to retopo these because they just go to a plane. That's the other thing about this. You don't have to topology. You don't have to UV the low poly because you're just baking it to a plane. God, that's awesome. Just got to do this though. Gotta UV this. Yeah, I wish I did the 45-degree version of this. I did the rounded version. I think it's gonna work out, but I wish I did do it that way. So I'm gonna continue along this path. This is the part where, like, you know, the trim sheets is like, it's a little bit more work. You gotta do this. Am I gonna trust this ratio? I don't know if I trust that. Like, does this look like that? I don't know. Project from view. It probably is. It says correct aspect. I don't know if I trust that, but anyway. This part takes a little bit of work, but it's like kind of fun. It's kind of like, well, I should probably just write a script that does it, but it's like you just line it up. It's I don't know what the equivalent of this is, but it makes UVing kind of like structured, and as long as you have the right piece to go to, it's really like kind of chill. Like if I wasn't streaming, I'd just be like listening to some music and just hitting this trim sheet. It's just less stressful. It's really easy. Like all your textile density becomes uniform because you're doing it this way. Your bevels are uniform. The materials are uniform. I'm like, I could move this up there. Like if these start repeating too much, like say I was gonna make a curb trim sheet, which would be kind of a lot, but like you could have like 15 different versions, and you could just have, you know, all this like variety in it too. Now this is symmetrical, but I'm still gonna UV it like it's not, but kind of just for practice and making sure I'm still doing this right. That's an interesting rotation. Yeah, this is where I like, Jim, what's the hot, oh, shift numpad 7. Okay, we're gonna do that next time. I'll do it right now. Ready? So shift 7. Okay, well, it's kind of at a wonk. I wish it was like local 90 to that, but so now we can project from view, but it's actually not looking at it. If I was looking at it from the front, yeah, that doesn't help because I'm still gonna have to spin at 90. So you get back by just hitting regular 1-3 like that. Yeah, okay, thanks for the hockey. But yeah, in this case it actually didn't help because I do like mostly for just getting the orientation for free when you project from view. Okay, so this is it's upside down. I have to think so hard. That's still not good, but anyway, like if I did 45-degree bevels, this would be even smoother when we take it back to Unreal Engine, but this will still be pretty good. Better than like all the other shit I made where like it was just like, let's leave the right angles as right angles. GX. Yeah, and Blender is perfectly suited for this, and the rectify tool in text tools. That's my life now. If I didn't have that, this would suck. But I do, so it's okay. This one. Did I hear Jim say that perhaps the lady mannequin will be part of actual Unreal Engine someday? That would be cool. Like they have you could have either version. People have been asking for that for a long time. You're probably aware. I mean, you've been doing this for a while. I think the fact that the default mannequin looks as good as it is like a huge boon to Unreal Engine. It's just like you just start with something that's like kind of cool looking already. It's kind of like a meme if you're a developer, because you're like, oh, you couldn't be bothered to change the mannequin, but like for everyone else, when you're like, you know, your audience, when you're prototyping your game, it's like, oh shit, that's a cool character. Like it's a good look. That's kind of like with Quixel Megascans. It's like, I'm gonna bang out a quick forest. It's gonna look incredible because okay, so this is a question, right? Because like these bevels I've been using are actually 90-degree bevels, and this is obviously not 90 degrees. So I don't know how this is gonna look in Engine, but it should be smooth though. Like in Blender, it doesn't quite. In Maya, it does. Like in Maya, when you put the normal like this and you look at it, it's like it just looks smooth, like it would in Unreal. Blender doesn't quite do it. But I've done this 2 times now with those other 2 pieces. It does work out in UE4. Now this piece is the question mark, and I saw the people that did like who like branded this thing, the ultimate trim sheet. They have a guide for this. You're supposed to like cut it here, UV this part, and then take this little trimmy part, flatten it, and put that on the trim. I'm like, And I don't know, can you make a UV cut here that's not on the mesh? Is that possible? I don't know. don't know if that works. Project from view. And I mean, if I want this corner to be smooth on this part, I gotta do that thing where I like cut this through here. Like I leave this part flat and then I cut this like that and I put this part against the trim. I haven't been doing that. That's just why my trims aren't like, my meshes aren't like as perfect as like some of the other ones. But I could also just like, oh, I hit H instead of G because they're right next to each other. I could also just do this. Like that. So it's the right material. It's the right textile density. This edge will be smooth, but these won't be. So it's not as fun. Oh, you know what I could do? Actually, I can get 2 out of 3 here. I can do G, X, and grab this one. So this is the money side right here. Could also cut it in half. You end up with like some weird UVs, which if you've ever looked at like marketplace assets where they use trim sheets, you look at the UV for the curb and you're like, why the hell would the UVs be cut in half? There's all these like weird things that have to happen. And you could also, if you knew you were doing curbs, you could make a trim sheet piece that's just this butt here. Like you take this, you separate it, spin it 90, high poly bevel it, put that at the end. Like a lot of people will make like kind of just like random trim sheets at the bottom, like random pieces. You could do that and put it down here, which I might do at some point. And then you could just perfectly put that there. You have to know how you're going to model it. But I think in general, I see people doing that for wood and stuff like that. They'll have like the end of the wood as like the rectangle that they know the 2x4 length. I'll get to there. I haven't done like the wild card pieces yet. But for now, I'm pretty happy just to have the it's the right material. It's the right textile density, and 2 of the edges have the bevel on them. This piece, I don't think it would be a great idea to do the thing where you cut it and move them off. It would work. That's too much work for me. I think the smartest thing to do would be to make a wildcard piece. Like currently, I'm actually not using this very much. This part right there, I'm gonna use it for a ledge that I'm gonna make in like now, basically. But considering that this is really a sidewalk kit, what this should be is like, this is a double wide sidewalk that tiles. This is a 200 by 200 piece sidewalk that tiles. This is a 100 by whatever that is. That's for like the residential sidewalks are going to be that one. And they'll have like different textures on them. And then probably this should be like the curb butts and like other things that are just for the sidewalks. This is actually a ledge, so I got a little greedy trying to add this in there. But these curb butts should go in. It should go in there, basically. I think, and maybe like a sewer drain or something. We could throw like kind of decal-y looking things in there too. But there's that piece. Let's do the bottom, and that's the trim sheet workflow. Not making it, but and this part don't matter at all. Actually, this is a good candidate for like, in my opinion, it's packet, and then I could use the textile density, but I don't care that much for this. Right? So in case you do see it, because I allow you to shoot anything with physics now, you will see the bottom of this curb. And guess what I should do is just like scale it up so that it has the bevel. I guess because it's a little bit different than the top, but I can just use this piece here. I'll tell you, this makes UVing like way more pleasant of a process once you have these in place. I don't know. It feels good. So this part doesn't bevel on the side. This is a tiling trim. But, you know, whatever. Like, this part will appear smooth. Actually, you kind of get the effect in Blender, but this will feel smooth even though it's a right angle. This edge will not. So the cap's a little bit weak, but, you know, these will have highlights at the end of the day. When you light it, you'll see a smooth, normal highlight there, which is what you pick up. It's for lighting. If your lighting is completely flat, you won't ever see any of this detail. You have to have lighting that like activates the reflections and shows off the normals and whatnot. But yeah, so I made a curb, and I didn't have to like high poly it. I could have, you know, these could be sculpted in ZBrush. I don't want to. I wanted to make like a generic set first, and then in in Houdini we could do this all procedurally. Like just get in here and it would start to like, just procedurally add noise to this, and then do like sculpting procedurally, which I would really like. Just even like a Voronoi with like a distort horizontally would break up this edge just a little bit. I don't have to ZBrush anything, which would be great. So yeah, I made a curb, new curb piece, same material, you know. And it's like, so what else can we make? I'm gonna make like a planter, and it's gonna be just this material. So it's like, I could come into Blender and like with my trim sheet, it's all gonna work. It's good for performance, more or less. I just start making shit. There's the curb. Let's go put it in the game. Let's go put that in the game before we do that. I'm gonna do a planter next, like a sidewalk planter. And I'm happy. Like, this is gonna be great. And then if I make like curbs that are like yellow with distress paint, and I just change it in Substance Painter, I don't have to change that curb. That shit works. It's completely good. I'm gonna call this part of Sidewalk 1. That's like what the set's called. Called Parking Curb 01. And like, you know, we could. You can distress it too. Actually, I can start distressing it now. Like you could do some like, you get away with some like real low poly looking shit. Like if I bevel this, can I bevel this right here? Like, I guess you can't. You can't bevel the. I thought you can't bevel this. Well, anyway, I can do like this stuff. Like if you're subtle with it, you can start to. Oh boy. You could bevel it and then put that plane, like the plane that happens there, somewhere else in there, like an inside texture. And you're doing some like really low poly, like cartoony looking modeling. But if you texture it like this, it looks great. So trim sheets for the win. I'm super happy to have figured this out before I go into 6 months to a year of modeling things. What's up, Blenux? Yui messaged me on Twitter asking to email them so they could loop in the right people. Nice. Can I ask who your contact is? Interested. Feel like that would be a separate trim sheet. Street. Yeah, we need a street one for sure. Okay, so let's go put this in the engine, and I'm going to go make like a planter and a couple other things. And it just makes it more like, it's easier. It's just, I can make more things if I don't have to really worry about, I have to be worried about actually UVing them, but like, I know it'll work out, and I know all my textile densities are set up. It's just like so many things I was worried about and managing now. It's like make a trim sheet and that's it, you know. Then it comes down to engineering the right trim sheet, of course. But I don't know. I'm very happy with this. So these are my sidewalks. See, I don't have to do this high to low poly shit anymore. It's just like I just make the lows. I think these are them. I don't remember. Sidewalk 1 trimmed is sure as hell not the name. We call this parking curb. Oh, you know what I need is a I'm gonna still call it low, just in case. I do need to make a quick street piece. I'll do that in Blueprint. That'll be really easy. I have a couple things. We'll be fine. Oh, and I also figured out how you do smoothing group edges better than how I used to do it. I didn't have time before. I didn't have time. It looked fine. Shipped it. Fuck it. But now I know how to do it a little bit nicer. That's like this whole update. I am splitting myself between these two. Oh, you know what? I was supposed to call it SM curb because I'm good at organizing things. And that was the wrong folder. Oh yeah. Okay, wait, hold on. FBX UE4. Oh, look at me. Ready? SM Sidewalk 01. I guess we're not versioning yet. Oh no, typo 1. Okay. Parking curb 01 low. Oh yeah, we're not doing the low. You'd only put low if it's the mesh that's for like. I've read so much shit on this in the last couple days. Only some of it sticks though. Okay, here we go. That's the place. Oh yeah, let me show you something. I'm sure like most of you have probably seen this. Goodbye. Is it ArtStation? Oh yeah. Oh my god. This guy named Leonardo Iezzi makes these like amazing tutorials. I read these like 50 times on my vertical monitor. These are like best practices for load of high poly baking, and he talks about every program. He's like, this is what if you bake it in Nald, if you bake it in Marmoset, and like the UV styles, and like all these like really detailed. If you bake it with a cage or without a cage, like there's like 50 of these. It's the full workflow, and it's like exactly what I'm studying right now. And so like all these things, it probably took him years to learn these, and it'll probably take me years to really like internalize it, but I'm aware of them now, like already. Like this study, this is something that I would only just do by being like, well, let's just try one and fuck it. Talks about like the different bakings that come out of this, and like, you know, I forget what studio he works at. He's like, you know, he's like level production art at like a pretty big studio. So this is like what goes in games. And I was like, oh fuck, like this is my shit right here. I read this like so many times. I use X normal still for photogrammetry. Substance. I still don't know what he's saying here actually. Like this. The where'd it go? The average normals one. I still don't know exactly what this is. I just use the stock big settings still. So I'm not in the dilation width. So like, yeah, if it's 2K by 2K, you're supposed to have like 16 pixels of border, and then you need to set that here too. I don't do all that. But there's like a ton of these, and I read all of them on like edge decals and like all this like crazy stuff. I'm not doing edge decals yet. That's like next. I think Session does do edge decals, so you come in with like a generic rounded one like I have, and then you can just add edge decals, which is its own basically trim sheet. And he talks about how much it costs in Unreal Engine 2, which I'm gonna not do this for a little bit, but basically can have a lot of variation along stuff like that. So this is like incredible. Control B, but hit the V key. Oh, I'll try that next time. It was Amanda. Okay, cool. Word. Check you later, dude. Okay, what am I making? Oh yeah, we're gonna put these in the engine, and I named it SM because I'm professional. See, these say SM too. Those are the old ones. Those are the first ones. Even within this, I've like it. I think I could delete those out now, but they shall stay for just a little bit longer. So before, like every single time I made a static mesh, it was like, okay, make a high poly and then substance painter, blah blah. It's like his paint sucked. Now it's like I'm just making these like low poly, like goofy meshes, and with the trim sheet, they look fine. Now, my organization's not fine. Is this it? No, it's definitely not. Roads, yeah. Here it goes. Parking curb, hooray. And if we did our job right, I'm gonna grab a reference to this trim sheet. That was a mistake because now I don't have my. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm gonna get the static mesh. I should just have to put this on there. Okay, we still don't have the reference to it. This is my single monitor workflow here. Failing. There we go. I should just have to put this trim on it, and boom, magical. It doesn't look the best. I don't. Wait a minute. Did I use the wrong part of the? Did I use the wrong part? That's the curb part. Let's go see. Let's go see how it looks. I bet its collision's fine. It is indeed fine. We'll just use the simple collision. And I'm just gonna... I do have to make a class for it. This really comes into... What the hell is this? Is this really a block? Like a full... I don't know. Removes a lot of the trial and error. Then it's just practice. Yeah. Yeah, Mrs. Mannequin's good too. It's... For me, it's like just like a quick like... It just tells you like what you don't know, which is very helpful. Like I'd never heard of an edge decal, red flag, you know. And same thing when I started to get like, you know, more and more into this like level design stuff. I was like, oh, trim sheet. I was like, a what? I was like, okay, here's what I need to focus on. That's what I need to learn. And if I was like a manager type person, which I'll probably be in the future, I was like, I need to hire someone who knows what the fuck that means. So let me make a class for this, and I'm gonna go use it, and then put it in the thing. So we're making those roads now, road systems. This is to instill as much confidence into the system as I can to the user base, because I've ripped out all the maps. So it needs to look like that this is capable of making an entire world if needed. Only thing missing now that we have the roads is basically the like environment stuff, like a little mountain or a hill. But I could make that too. That's another Houdini thing. Should go down. Just add noise to the mesh instead of sculpt it, etc. Okay, so I need to make this thing. Did I make a roads class or group? I did. So we got this corner, sidewalk. Oh, the other thing that's really good about this for me, I'm gonna call this sidewalk curb parking 01, is that I used to do different, like have multiple materials on every object, because I was always using seamlessly tiling materials, right? That's how I did. That's like, that is still valid, and still the right way to go for like a really big mesh. You know, if a trim gets bigger than, you know, half the object, it's not a trim. Wait a minute, where is this thing? There it is. But if I do it this way, everything just has one material for the most part. I don't know how that's going to play out design-wise forever. Like, I'm just going to keep iterating on it and kind of see how that feels. But I think that's going to work. And then this class, it changes the way that I think about. I don't like this repeating. I'll change that. I can just I can flip it over, and I can do variation within this piece. It just simplifies this, because this class changes it to like a see-through material when you're moving it, and then changes the material back. Before, that was a pain in the ass, because if I had like 5 materials, it was an issue. But if I go all trim sheet, I think at max there would be 2 materials on an object. It would basically be like whatever's the seamless material, like the big material on it, and whatever trim sheet goes with it, and then I can switch them back and forth. So it's just 2. But I'm sure there's unforeseen complications with it, because I haven't done my own trim sheets and like then tried to interact with them, like change them at runtime. So we will find out. So I'm gonna try to place this within my snapping system for the user. This makes parking spots 200 wide. And you won't, well, you could go to editor and change them, but okay. So something like that. And then the snapping system is going to be X 400, Y 200. Really, this should be like at 100 too, but I'll leave it at 400. 400 is going to be like kind of like the exterior stuff. You wouldn't put a parking curb like in the residential set. And it shouldn't matter. Like if I build a parking garage, where it was like pretty much the only case I could see where you would start to have parking curbs over each other, it would be base 400 if not base 600. That would be like very tall ceilings. So that goes there. That's the parking curb. I should add it to the inventory, and I need to also instance it into here. I don't have a road yet, but I'll still put it there. It's basically this. We basically ripped this off and then modeled it, but I approached it in like a more, like, I don't know if holistic is the word, but like it wasn't exactly that piece, but I used the same trim sheet. So having more of these now, it's the same material, and that's how it will snap into the world as well. So add a couple of these parking curbs. It's just like needed structure to the game, which is like what this whole thing is. It was like kind of chaos in my mind for a while, still kind of is, of like just building an entire environment, and then not only me building it, but making sure that the users can build it too. It's like still kind of screwing with my head. And it's just like we just need rules to follow, even if they suck at first. We just need a rule, and this is that. For sure. And it's the best looking environments I've been putting together still. Like even this is like not that bad. So I need a street real quick. I gotta go make that. That's gonna be kind of weird. I don't know exactly where that snaps in. I kind of want to go look at Fortnite again. But I think Fortnite has like special special road blocks that are different than the others. So it's this one. Okay, so now this has the sidewalks on it, has parking curbs. Those are very you know, I think I'm gonna center them because I think that like that's too small for a car. Like those would be some real New York City sized parking spots. I don't even think there are parking spots in New York City. But if I do 2 of them, well, like, ugh. Oh god. I'm like literally stressed out looking at this. I'm like, oh god. Don't door the Tesla. Oh no. What are we doing here? This isn't worth it. We should have Ubered. Yeah, see, like these are too close. Like 200 wide is not enough for a parking spot. Like this is like if computers designed parking spaces, it would be like, oh, perfect. It's the exact size we need for a parking spot. I mean, it does make for like easy math here. Is that there's 2 per 4, but like that's ridiculous. But unfortunately, I think if I put it in the middle, then the spots are like gigantic. But I mean, this looks okay, like at first glance, but it's like I might leave it for now, but I don't like it. But anyway, I like adding this curb here, and it's the same material as this thing, and it is pretty. We got to change the lighting to see the normal map act up. Actually, that's kind of a good test right now. Like this one's more clear that it's a smooth highlight happening. So we got to go for like this lighting. There it is. It's not perfect. It's not perfect at all. But it's also not a right angle. Right? So we're looking at like... Yeah, it's not the best. This is what happens when you apply a 90-degree bevel to whatever angle this is, like a 45. I should have done the 45s. You're not supposed to get this close to the objects either. This is a third person... Well, I mean, it's a camera, but like... So like this feels very smooth here. And this is not quite doing the thing. But it doesn't... It's not so sharp that it calls attention to itself either. It's a little bit blobby. I could have probably even gone with like a tighter bevel. I'll make a trim sheet that's 45-degree angle trims instead of rounded ones. But I wanted to start with the rounded ones first. But still, the idea of putting these in here and them all being the same material is life. So it's pretty much working. I don't know exactly what the... Oh, so I can move this actually now. So now this... Okay, this is snapping in the wrong dimension. I did it the wrong way. What? Really? This means it's X200 and Y400? That's not what I wrote. I don't think I wrote that. X4, Y2, Z4. Am I looking at this backwards or something? Am I wrong in saying that X is 400 and Y is 200? Uh-oh. What we doing wrong here? Something's wrong. I'm gonna put those curves a little further apart and check them out here. So basically, I do my level design in blueprints now, like in a parent blueprint class, and I kind of like have to figure it out from there. It's kind of weird because this is not as, you know, I guess it is a level editor in here. It's just not the same though. So this would then go here. Oh, this is like too much space then. I don't know. These might have to get free placed. I don't know if I can like force like a... Yeah, because now the spots are like gigantic. These might have to just be free place curbs. Like they just go on like a 10 grid and you just have to kind of work it out for yourself. I think that's probably what they are. They have no grid. That makes them props. That's like the definition of a prop. But I want there to be like some sort of standardization as far as like to help. Right? It's like I don't expect the user to be like, oh, let's go Google how far our car spaces are. And then if they don't know and they just guess, it looks, your first guess is going to be wrong, like mine is. Like I want it the first guess, I want like it to go correctly. So I'm placing them at the corner. They have this kind of like built-in offset here because like that's where this piece's origin is as well. Like these origins are on top of each other now. So that's how they snap. So you get the built-in margin essentially, but then the spacing is actually 300, which I don't want to force that, or do I? If I force, I also haven't done like the corresponding floor piece that has the parking spots. So we're gonna start with this. The mesh is fine, the trim sheet's fine, but like engineering, like kind of the standard. Oh, I don't like those I don't like that in there. not just engineering out the spacing and the snapping system and the offsets for the base class. That I still don't know, but that's gonna look a lot better for spacing. And it allows you to edge align, which is better. Wanted to start learning myself, but having computer issues lately. That sucks. Yeah, computer issues, like I get like cold sweats, like, which is why I hate it. I upgraded the GPU myself. I don't like doing that stuff. I take no pride in that. It's all sweat, no pride. Hate that shit. I just don't trust anybody in my area to do it for me. Still. Yeah, that's a more relaxed spacing right there. Let's stick some cars in there. This guy got fancy and backed in. And this is the asshole. We have made parking curbs, and the spacing is pretty good like that. I could hard enforce that for the snapping grid. It's a little tricky, but basically, it would be 400, 300. That's weird. It'd be 400, 300 to enforce this, and it would snap in like that for you. You wouldn't have to think about the spacing. I'm definitely building in the margin. But like if you were to place your own, right now it's snapping on the wrong amount. I don't understand. Really don't understand this now, but I'm gonna go just type it in script-wise. If I basically make it 300 this way, it'll snap every 300, and then this way should be every 4. Yeah, every 4 for now, because the road pieces are still going to be 400, which is probably a mistake. It's a little small to make roads 400, because then you can't make a double. I might have to make special road pieces. Well, I'm going to do the 400 pieces, then I'm going to be like, nah, it doesn't work, because like usually like 1,000 wide to start. But yeah, so that's built into the prefab now. So like when you spawn this out, it's like a little shopping area or like whatever to start. And I'll just continue to add decoration to it. Like we're going to go make a planter in a second once I make the road piece and just stick the planter right there. I guess the planter should be to start either 2 or 1, like a full 400. I think that's right. It should be a 400 by 100 by 40 or 60 tall, something like that. Something that fits perfectly right there. And then we'll have a tree plot, and it's like once it's trim sheeted, it's like dimensions are locked in there, which is how I like to model anyway. It's like basically parametric model the whole thing without the parametric part, but just like have it all be like a parameter when I bevel and make heights, and that works with the trim. So let me make a quick road so it's not just the grid. I don't really know exactly how this is gonna be actually, but let me take this sidewalk and we're gonna make our first road piece, road 400 400 01. There's just gonna be a lot of these. I don't know what I'm gonna call them yet. HLOD? What's an HLOD? Maybe I do. What's an HLOD? I don't remember. I know LOD. Terrible with measurements. Googled weird things. Yeah, I think most people are. Unless it's part of your job as like a surveyor to like, you know, to not be terrible at it. I think everyone is. And then everything's always relative to like your perspective in the world. So for me, I'm like 5'9", 5'10", or something like that. So like when I like look at things, I'm like, oh, like that's it's all relative to me. And then when I use the Unreal Engine mannequin, he's like 6 something, I think. So it always throws it off for me because I always see people modeling to the mannequin, and I'm like, it throws off my senses. But at this point, I've been rounding architecture around so much that I kind of get it. I also have a book that's really good for like general construction dimensions. Though I find it's actually a little bit, there's things in it that I don't agree with completely, but it's a jumping off point. So I am gonna go make it its own mesh in case in case that's important. It is just the same exact cube. Actually, no, I have an idea. I'm gonna make a road piece. It's weird though compared to everything else in the game so far. So I haven't the world grid snap. I'm pretty sure I like it, but there's still some things that are like unanswered. Is like, will it actually work out? I will find out over time. So I'm going to put this 2 centimeters above the ground, but 10 centimeters under. That's 12. And it's not 12, it's 0.12 because Blender is base meters. And then this is a number. This is, I don't know what it is. What's the middle of this? 6? So it's G, Z, negative 0.04. It's too much thinking for that, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's gonna, no, is that right? Is the floor's 20? Yeah, this is right. So this is gonna overlap. This is out of grid, right? When we're going out of grid for this piece, 10 centimeters, but we only come up into the grid 2, which is weird. I haven't made a piece like this yet, but I need to test this. And we're gonna model an import at middle origin, and the blueprint itself does the offset, and eventually I'll script that, I think, which I wasn't before. So where is this cube? Oh, there it is. Wow, it's right there. Cool, great. Road 400, and this is like a mistake. Like, this is too small for a road, but so it's 12. Oh yeah, so this is a weird piece, and I don't know how it's gonna like when we make like a parking garage that ramps down, if this is even viable, how this is gonna work out. But this is my guess on how the road should work. And it's not trim sheeted. This is just like a big old seamless texture forever. So we'll just, do I have this? Yeah, there we go. So this one just gets UV'd like the normal way. And then this is now, no, this is now not helpful. And where do you change it? I'd rather this be my grid. There we go. All right. So I got to do pack islands. So I have my hotkeys down for this now. That should make this pretty quick for the stuff like this. It's like Q, this, A, Q, pack, rotate, Q, project, A, Q, pack, Q, project, A, Q, pack. And it's like I do this an awful lot. Oh no. And I still don't like using the smart unwrap for something like this. It's too much work to like flip it. This is, I think, faster, and there's like less repeat work because it's correct the first time, and the bottom's not done right. I also like that this is a determined like orientation. Not that I chose it, but it's the same every time, so I like that. Like, I don't have to think about the axes when I'm UVing, because Blender has a default way that it always, like when you're at the top, it always looks at it a certain way, and when you're at the bottom, it's a certain way, and that works out so that when I UV stuff for now, I always want to be able to read it. So given that we're looking into XY positive, I can read this, I can read this, I can read that, I can read that. Those are my rules. I don't know how that works out long term, but that's how I've been doing it. And the Blender axis system actually works for that too, despite it being different than Unreal Engine's. But I haven't had any issues yet, and everything's tiling perfectly. So I think with rules, as long as you stick to them, it's fine. And that's generally it. Okay, so this is the first road piece. SM. Look at me calling things SM. Road. Type 1. We'll type it. I don't know. I don't know what the road variations are going to be. I'm going to call it 400 by 400 and then just iterate the number. That's it for now. Okay, so I'm going to go make the base class. I have like a Megascans material. I'll just stick on it. So here's the road. I got to import the mesh. Hold on. And then we'll stick roads around that and then just keep making roadie props using the same trim sheet over and over again. Which is super cool. Road, that one. Yeah. We made another cube. I mean, I guess performance-wise, if I just always use the same... Oh, no, it's 12. It's a different height. Never mind. It has to be different. So it's this one selected. I'm going to switch that out for this one. that literally has the trim sheet on it. And then this has the offset baked into it as well. Because for a snapping system, I don't like centered. I'd rather it be like edge aligned. It's much easier. The math is like super simple, except for rotations always have this offset. But translation offsets are like you literally multiply by the grid number, the width times the grid number, and it's like easy math. So this gets like these are my these are just basically like all mega scans and substance source materials, but eventually I'm gonna go make my own. Maybe I'll start doing photogrammetry again. I really want to buy a LiDAR scanner. It's still not exactly the right time to do that, but I wants me a full LiDAR system. But then I gotta travel. I gotta leave my house then to use that, which is not, it's not currently what I'm doing with my life. Okay, we're gonna put this material to be reset there. So we have the roads now. I gotta add these to the database. You're 5'4", so you, yeah, exactly. Basically combining mesh depending on distance for level of detail. I don't do the distance one, I do the screen size one, which I think makes more sense. Because then you don't have to worry about its scale. Because like what if it... But maybe, I'm sure there's cases for HLODs. I use the default scale LOD, like based on how big it is on the screen. Can you make detailed video on making materials? So I'm not making tutorials yet. I'm going to eventually. I just stream it. There's a lot of stuff on making materials in the Substance Designer. There's all sorts of stuff. They're bought by Adobe now, so they have an army of people who are making content for them. And I see those people on LinkedIn. Those Adobe people. What? Okay, so let's put the streets in here. Or the roads, rather. See, like, this is, like, too many child actors. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, no one would do this. Like, this is not something you would do in a normal game. But for my game, I think it's probably okay. I might be wrong, but I think it's okay. Why the hell is it all the way over there? Oh, because it got parented. Like, it depends what you want, but like, I wouldn't do this otherwise. Oh no, we're Z fighting with the bottom piece. Damn it. Okay, so I was wondering how low to make this piece, because like everything overlaps in this system, and then you have to design the modeling for the overlap. I can fix this by just pulling that up to be 3 high, but then that becomes something I have to remember when I'm making all my other curb sets, which is this week, so whatever. Once I finish the roads, this update's done. I don't like this asphalt tiling default. And so, oh man, I'm gonna put this update out just so people can start to use it, and I can get the feedback in case something is like completely effed that I didn't foresee, which is definitely possible. People are just like, yeah, this is like unusable, blah blah blah. You know, like, so like, what is that I'm missing? But I need to have control over the child template here in a more, not this. But now that I know that you can child actor template in here and expose what I want, and then it runs the construction script of this for every piece, I need to rethink about this base class that all these pieces are coming from, because I didn't know that was possible. And I was running this like for every piece, run the init function. That kind of works. Like this is now expensive. Like, this scales fine, each building piece like this. Not for, if these were exterior only buildings, it wouldn't scale. This would be like very expensive. But having a piece like this be this many pieces, whereas like this should easily just be 1, is why base 4 is pretty bad. But I'm not going to change it right now, but I can kind of feel that this is like probably a bad look to have this many road pieces, like this many static meshes. And they're not even static meshes, they're like straight up actors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is how many did? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They don't outline it, I have no idea. And moving 6 is a little bit, yeah. I should just type in the value. It's like negative 800. And nope, I wonder why it's not negative 400. Uh-oh. Wait, what? What? Then what is it? If it's, these are 400 wide, how could this not be that? What is this one? 300. These are wrong. Okay. Okay. These are wrong. I was gonna say, because if yeah, I see. It's still gonna Z-fight. Okay, so I placed these wrong. Yeah, we're gonna do one by hand. One by one. The next thing to do, this is programming. I'm trying to stay in art world as much as I can now. Okay, so you do have to put a road under this one for this. I didn't model into the curb the road triangle. I might. But then it's like you don't know what road is going to be here. And I might make curbs that have like a gutter, which would come out to perfectly be here. But I don't know. There's a lot of different types of roads. So I'm trying to still figure that out. I'm just going to do like that side. There's just a lot of child actors in this piece just for the roads. That's kind of what I'm against. Oh, I was wondering if you could... I have to design like a decal actor, and I have to design programming-wise. I want you to be able to spline out a road from here, and it automatically does the tangenting for you, so you become static mesh into spline by in script. But because doing it by hand sucks. Like merging landscape splines into static mesh roads is like hard. It takes a lot of work. But I think I can script it, so you just like you'd have to kind of like define what roads you're going to spline, and then it puts those in a spline actor and then does it for you, and it connects the tangents like that and scales it. There's all these parameters that have to be perfect to have a landscape spline land perfectly back into that seamlessly. They get all distorted too, like if the handles are too pulled out and a bunch of stuff like that. Okay, I'm gonna go spawn this out and look at it. I'm not gonna build like a whole parking lot around it, but specifically, almost everyone I think that gets Cinetracer uses the motel set first, and that's not in this update, so it kind of sucks. Like I know that, so I'm trying to eventually like kind of remake that. So it's like here's the road. It came with curbs and parking lots, and the weather was set nicely, and it was raining and like all this other stuff. But I could turn this set into a motel and put a motel sign on it in the next month. I just have a couple other priorities before I make a motel specifically. Like how many film noir motels are going down right now? Like it's mostly houses and office buildings and commercial stuff. That set is very specific. So here's the road pieces. They're not in the inventory yet, but I think they're tiled a little aggressively. Yeah, that's tiled insane. Like times 16, like it's tiled. The tiling's off for some reason. I don't know why. It should be set up default correct, but the tiling's too tiley. And I'm going to remake those materials in Substance Designer. I posted a blog entry of Ryan Brooks from Epic about it. Okay. Where'd you post it? I can jump and add roads. So, yeah, the material's no good, and then I'm going to make, like, street-specific ones that, like... Even if we make a decal system for the game, like, what's it called? Twin Motion has, like, a decal system that looks pretty robust. I think that's, like, too much for the user to be like, oh, place road decal here. I think that's just, like, too detailed. So I think I'd rather have, like, a parking space decal, or pre-decaled road. And I don't know what it looks like to add decals to blueprints that are then child actors. Is the decal, it's because the decals are like their own actor. A decal, isn't it? Like a decal actor is its own thing. So if I delete the child actor as it's a child actor, what happens to the decal? I haven't used decals inside of blueprints yet. I've only like placed them in level. And if it doesn't work, then I've got a bit of Substance Painter work to do. Or I can do it somehow procedurally through the material through color masks. Like I can make a material, like I could make an extra texture where like I have RGB, I have 4 black and white masks I can put in there. I could have a mask for the parking lines. It's like, here's the mask for parking. Here's the mask for if it's a road, like the middle road. Here's a mask if it's the road that has like dotted lines. And then I just have color parameters, and then I just switch it on the material itself. That then makes the road material a different material than everything else, which is, I'd like to keep everything kind of the same. But roads are a case where like it either is actors on the, it's either complicated in the class where I'm adding decal actors to the road block blueprint, or the material has like a special like holdout mask, and the material has to, I don't think the user's changing that either. I also wanted to have, it's not going to happen in this update, but this base material is going to have dirt, so you can shoot it with the dirt gun, and it's going to basically increase the opacity of like a dirt mask over everything. Especially now with trims, it should work out with directionality, with like drips and stuff like that. And then water is essentially just like a darkening of the albedo, and then making it less rough until it's like completely smooth and more metallic. I don't know, I have to figure out the water mapping. And then I want to put like a rain normal on it, so that like if you turn it on, like if you turn on rain, all these materials update, which I can't imagine that's very good for performance, but they would. And they'll just have like a normal map animation that's like little like rain puddles or whatnot. I haven't made those yet, but they're pretty easy from what I've seen. I'm gonna update. I have to update everything to Niagara. We had a lot of work, but this is gonna be like a month to a year of environment. I'll do other updates and stuff to the characters and cameras and general maintenance of it, but it's gonna be like every single day I'm out here like making these things until the system has all the prefabs that people want, and then the building community can build them, and then we can share those. And I'm probably gonna end up rewriting things like the roads several times, because like it's a little slow to drop out blocks one by one. It'll probably be something like, we'll see how big it gets, and we'll have to start doing. I'm gonna start to do like stress tests of like how many of these you can spawn out on my target hardware, which I think is going to turn into like a 10, like Jedi Fallen Order made their like recommended a 1070. I was like, there we go. My recommended used to be is a 1080 Ti currently, but 1070 is pretty reasonable too. And then I'll do the memory to like be like so that it reasonably works on a 1070, which I don't even know if that new MacBook Pro, if that shit's equivalent to a 1070 yet. Like the AMD GPU and the new MacBook Pro maxed out, the 8 gig one. 8 gig is a 1080, but I don't know performance wise if it can crank like an NVIDIA 1080 could. 1080 is old shit. Well, I guess it's like more like a, what is the 2070 Super, I guess. I gotta go look. So there's the road, there's the curbs. I'm gonna add the road and the curb, this piece, to the database so that you can spawn them yourself, and it's in the prefab. But the prefab's what I'm mostly concerned with, is like that's my pitch, is that like no maps, prefabs, but I have to prefab something that like looks like what would have been a map essentially. So I could just road all the way around. That's just like painfully adding all these child actors. It's been spawning fine, but I have like kind of a big computer. I don't know if this is already too much. This would already overwhelm like an integrated graphics MacBook Pro essentially, which is what I'm constantly facing. Like that's unfortunately my target hardware. is that. So I don't know if this is going to be like when you spawn this, it's like spawning all these child actors and all these materials get created. It's like, I don't know how bad that's going to be. But let me go add those to the database, and I don't know. If that doesn't work, I could do level streaming. I really don't want to have to implement level streaming yet. That's the only other way I can think about performance-wise loading it, because I don't want the maps to be separate maps. I want you to load them in, and I don't know if there's like a async load I can do with like some sort of like loading menu or something like that. I haven't figured that out. Victor tried to tell me how to do level streaming loading from at Epic Games, and I was like, I don't get it. I'll have to try it someday. I just do open level. I don't know how to do the other. I don't know how to do the stream level stuff. Watch some tutorials. Database. Where are you? Yeah, departments. There you go. Structure. So the curb is a structure. It's kind of weird. Is it time to make a road category? It is. Okay, so let me. I want to redesign this department menu now too. I know a lot more about UI design in Unreal now than this. This is okay, but I can do like one better from this one. But grid, residential. So grid is not first anymore, and blocks needs to go away. I'll do that after. Let me do. So we added warehouse. I keep scope creeping this. I was first gonna launch with just residential, but now it's like this is what I put out, like a lot of content, and I get a lot of feedback, which is what we're looking for from the content. And yeah, the feeling was like, no, we have to ship a more complete version, or else people are, I don't think they're gonna like it. So road, this is gonna be the road category. I don't have an icon for it. I'll just leave it like that. We call this road sidewalk. There's a plus sign safe in here. Yeah, I'm gonna rewrite this button. I don't like this button style anymore. You have a 2070 Super? How much memory do you have? Could you use the paint gun to make road signs? You mean like actually paint the floor with that? I haven't tried that stuff yet. People also want to try loading video into the, like, at runtime and like streaming it into a texture target, render target. I haven't tried that either. There's a lot of things that just like, I don't even know if that works in Unreal Engine. On a long enough timeline, like everything works, I guess. Road and sidewalk. Let me get this thing scripted in here. Go make some more stuff. Some more blendery, trim sheety things. But yeah, I kind of knew moving into like this amount of production that if I didn't figure out like what trim sheets are, that I was going to be like sad later, which I would have been, because like every single one of these pieces would have been like its own roads plural, I don't know. Every single piece would have had its own UV, or what I was doing before is I would take similar pieces and I would like UV them all together, which is was fine, I guess, but trim sheets are even better. It's like I'm gonna try to get real greedy and like everything is from like 1 or 2 trim sheets, which is good performance wise, I hope. So we got the warehouse, we got the roads category in here now. So I don't think I have anything in here that is roads yet. I don't remember. Oh no, the sidewalks. I'm dead wrong. So these are roads. Roads. So we have 2 new ones. We have the... Do I have 2? Yeah, I do. Okay, we have the actual road itself. Road 400. Let's do floor. That block is fine. Roads. And we have the curb. Parking curb, which I need to go change the snapping to help out the L users. I remember the first person that streamed Cinetracer. I don't have. I'm just going to make it a floor. On Twitch when it came out. This is like early release version 1. So this was like... The game was absolute hot garbage. Like... So bad. So bad. I can't believe I released that. Had to. So bad. Oh my god. And the first thing he said was like, there's no snapping system. And I was like, what's a snapping system? I was like, what? What do you mean? What the fuck is a snapping system? Because I wasn't playing video games and I was coming from DCCs. I was like, there's no snapping system. What do you mean snapping system? Never even heard of it. Modular building? Pfft, never heard of such a thing. So if he had plays this now there is a snapping system, but it was a long ass road before I had one, and before I had anything that was like kind of like parody with like a essentially a modern video games building system. But I had no idea what that fucking meant back then. Oh shit. Okay, let's just... So I should have those roads now. I should make a new save because I keep spawning into this like tunnel set, but whatever. Roads. Sidewalk. The sidewalk wet's getting killed. Road. Parking curb is going to have the wrong snapping but. So here we go. Curb. Turn curb. Curb. Good enough. So there's our sidewalk. Oh, was that snapping right? Okay, so this is actually like just like asphalt. Technically we have to put this in there, but it's going to Z-fight, so I'm just going to leave it. So that's a little bit empty, but whatever. I'll fix that. And then curb. So the curb snap is like too wide now, like it's too far, but yeah, you guys have big comfy parking spots now. So there's those new pieces. This is the beginnings of the road system. It can just keep going. I can keep making variations, and the thing that would like really finish it tech wise, like this placement system, this works for everything. This will always work. Is splines. Like if you want to have like curved or hills or something like that, that's... I don't know how I'm going to do that. I think those might have to be generated for you. Like, you'll basically take, like... My concept is to do... Like that. you would then have a tool that splines this for you, because you're not going to place that. You got to get the tangents perfect, or the gag is over. That's the wrong piece. That's on a road. Like if you want a spline road between these two pieces, even if I wrote the equivalent editor tool was like tangent. There's just no fucking way. Like even I have a hard time doing that in Unreal Engine. We'll just have something spline it for you, which I think I already have the interface written and the for loop or the tick loop that the game logic that does that type of stuff. But I don't think you're going to be placing those things. It's much easier to just like place modular floors and be like whoop. But then there's like this whole issue of like the resulting mess of like the curbs, and then if you build a house on a hill, like then we need like if this is generated like as procedural, then so is the foundation system that would have to then have that the houses are sitting on, that's not going to be fun. I might never have that in this. Like I would be fine shipping a game that just like it's always flat or blocky and not going to the spline versions of it. But yeah, 400's not too bad. Just really big parking spots. I'll make it base 3. It's not going to line up always with that, but or I'll just make them like regular. So anything that implements this world grid, when you grab it, which is this new mode here, it forces you onto the world grid, which should help. But if you want to like freestyle it, you can just come back out here and it's like, yeah, whatever, wherever you want to put these curbs. Can you? And I can't force gun these. Yeah, I didn't enable force gun on those. I don't think I need to force gun curbs. You can only force gun the props at the moment. It has 32 gigs. The 2070 Super does not have 32 gigs. 2.5 by 5 is a car space is good. 2.5 meters. So I was going to make it 3. 2.5 doesn't work with my system all that well. But I mean, it's you can free place the curb after, I think. I don't know if this works, but you can build the roads and walls in the level and then select them and add them as a child to a blueprint actor. To do what? To do a connect tool. Yeah, that's what we were kind of thinking. I'm an architect in the EU. Well, that's not valid. I'm making US dimensions. But no, I'm just kidding. But that's cool. 2.5 by 5, huh? That's interesting because like this floor piece is only 4 meters. So you're saying it's like a little wider, like down here. 5 meters, really? There's no question in my mind that the road system dimensions will evolve. Like this is not like not ideal. Like this works because it intersects with like everything, like my building system, but roads are like their own whole concept to have this work out and be easy to do as well. This is easy to understand. It's not going to be easy to do though, like to actually do it. Like it's going to be a lot of like this, like you're just going to be running around the map doing that a ton. The roads are probably going to have like some level of like smartness in them. But this is about like 100 times faster than how you do it now, like in the game. This is the curb. In my current version of the game, which I've never been more ashamed of anything in my life, is the current version of the game. Compared to this. For building. The cameras and lights haven't changed at all. I also haven't solved exactly how this is going to work. Like, I'm going to kind of just do this. It's like, well, that kind, and then like this overlaps with whatever piece you put there, so it's not that bad. But this is the beginning of it, right? And it can get a lot more complicated. I could make a curb corner. Like there's all these like different pieces that could go in there, and as long as I have like a prefab that kind of shows it or that implements it, then everyone gets it for free. Like these collections, this is a whole new one of these categories, because like these are I might call them like maps to start, just so that people like get the idea. Is that like whole thing comes out, right? And then you could start stacking these like next to each other if your computer can handle that sort of thing, like which we'll see. I gotta come down a level. Hey, there we go. So it's like here. Right, so you got two across from each other now. Start snapping together your town real quick. It's a little weird because they're big, and the world grid snap only works with a character in character mode, because it's relative to his position and his view. But we'll see. I can rewrite the editor to maybe have it to it. Instead of tediously adding them as child components in the blueprint, do that instead of... Wait, what? As child components in the... can you build up the roads in the level, then just select... Oh yeah, I think that is possible, but I don't trust that. I'd rather do it how I'm doing it. Tedious, but it works, right? I have no issues currently with this. There's nothing I have to do. Okay, so let me boot into a clean one. This keeps throwing me off a little bit. I need to just delete all these. These are all nothing. Roads. So this will be the one that I boot into today. I'll just keep it clean because I want to build the road fresh every time. So collections go up top because you're spawning out like a whole thing. That's like almost the first one, and these are gonna get broken out pretty soon. Like when I have like I'm gonna leave these props for now. These are almost in. There's like 90% I didn't make these, right? I made this and a couple of these things I made, but none of these use trim sheets or reusable materials. Like all these wouldn't actually. These ones do probably because they're third. Like I'd assume whoever made these is reusing the textures, but I don't know that. And I'm gonna create a master material and UV this myself and have wood that's my own special wood texture that I can like change it at runtime if I need to. So I'm gonna leave this stuff as props, and I'm gonna make a thing called new props, which is all the stuff I'm making. And until new props is bigger and much better than this, I won't get rid of these yet because they're there. We gotta use them. But these ones are really good, which is why I kept them. I forget whose kit this is from. These ones are really... It's definitely a waste of time in a certain sense to remake them, but I don't know the textile densities, I don't know the sizes, I don't know them. And rather than know them and learn them, I'm just gonna remake them. So these are gonna go soon. And these curtains are from some random set. They don't fit in our windows because like I just redesigned how the windows work. So I gotta fix all that. Gotta remake all that. But I'm gonna try to use trims and like reusable materials as much as possible. Have everything be a single material too. I used to have like 5 or 6 materials per element, and like I don't think that's a very good idea. So let me look at these real quick, and I'm gonna go build a planter. Sounds like super boring, but I'm like, oh no, that's not what we're doing. But I'm excited about it because I want to make locations that look good. And if I can make like real, I want to just look like boring. It's like, oh yeah, it's a city. Like what's the big deal? That would be success. And I don't like the way I broke up these tiles. I'm gonna break them up smaller, but that's just in Substance Painter. I don't have to do anything. I just go back in Substance Painter and draw the lines differently. And then we have what these. I already did this, but I just need to look at it again. What we want is that, like, in the end, I think I Z-fought. No, we got it. Is that the user can do this. Like, this is like runtime building. And then we can save that to a specific collection prefab save file. It won't be the normal save file for the game, but it would be a list of all of these objects with their parameters. It's like a special save that it'll be tough to respawn it. I'll have to figure out how I'm going to program that. But I basically want users to be able to build a set like this and then save this, like I can do with my blueprints, but it does it through the save system instead. So we're getting there. That'll be a programming week to figure out how to best do that. But to start, you just build it. So that's what we've built so far. Oh, the curbs. Right, let me throw these curbs in here, and I'm going to save this as our starting point. I'll just do every other for now. Oh, god damn. It's down here. Oh, no, it's up here. There it is. It shouldn't place below the ground, but it does every once in a while. It actually placed it behind me is what happened. Oh, and the visual centers are off. Okay, so I gotta fix the visual centers on these. That's where like this little flashlight's pointing to. It has nothing to do with the origin. It's completely hand placed every time. And the interface that does this building system is asking for it, and it's using like the old one. So there's here's our road system thus far. So I'm gonna just I'll save this and then keep iterating into it, so I don't have to rebuild it every single time. Okay, so yeah, trim sheets. Hooray! Made a curb. It's time to make more curvy looking things. In Blender, is this a different file now? This is sidewalk trimmed. No, so this was still it. So let's take out, let's go make a planter that's 400 by something, and then use the trim sheet. The value continues from this one trim sheet cube. 4 by 1 by 1 is a pretty tall planter. I'm not mad. I mean, let's do 1. It's like a barrier. That makes perfect sense. It's completely fine. Yeah, it's like a tall one. I don't know if I have a material that's gonna be. We'll see if the trim can handle this. I don't know if I have something that can do it this well. 0.5. Kind of laggy. It's a fairly large planter, but I'm kind of interested to see how this looks in the world. This, I feel like you need to bevel the trims, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Actually, this will be. I'm interested if I can trim this and it looks okay. That's kind of large. Given the sidewalks we have, that's going to be very big, but we'll see. These won't snap to the world. There's no way to enforce how these snap. Like, I mean, I could, but I think it would be a bad idea to do that. These just get free placed like props, so I need to go write that. If you haven't done so, you should check out Architect's Data. It's basically a Bible. Oh my god, really? Where is that? Is it a book? Is it a website? Architect's Data. Base? Oh, it's a book. I've got my book that's similar to this. 1936? Good god. Oh, what's it called when you like consider the human body proportions when you're designing things? There's a name for that. Looks like that. Huh. I'll buy it. Oh yeah, human factors and ergonomics. Yeah, I'll buy it. A little bit of a Euro spin on things, eh? Probably. Slightly different. That's cool. I like buying things on Amazon. I buy the physical books now too. I don't. Ebooks are fine for like drama or something, but like when it's a reference book, I need like paper. Like here, I can't do ebooks for referencing. I don't like them. And then those like stores close and stuff, and you don't have the book anymore. Okay, planter. So, yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work out. Point 0.2. It's pretty fat, but it's like a big city planter. I could see like a 20 centimeter, like 10's kind of like concrete. Should be 10. Should this be only 10? I don't have a 10 trim, so there's that. I also, if I UV it like this, I don't have like corner. I don't know what's gonna happen. Whatever. Let's see what happens. This is like picture frame corner versus like doing like box corners. I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna trim. This is the thing. Is like you make these objects, and I have no idea how the trim works out for this. So this is all part of the experiment. And this would be like dirt in here or something, but that's not part of this trim. I brought that down like an arbitrary number. Let's do 0.2. Yeah, that seems about right. So that's it. It's like it's super boring, but it's an obstacle level, you know, 1 meter tall, and I don't know. Let's see if the trim works on it. I don't think I have anything that big. I don't know. But I was looking at I mean, technically these planters could have like a planter's trim, right? And then in the planter's trim would be like dirt, different types of dirt in there. But I'm still good. I don't have that trim made, so I'm gonna just try this one instead. See how it goes. But I was just skateboarding through Session, hating that you turn with triggers. I still hate that. But the level design, oh shit, the level design in that game, I really like it. Like, that's my goals. Is that Sin and Tracer levels can even come close to that. trim boy. I got trim normal is what I need to see, like this. Okay, so this one's probably easy. You project from view, keep the aspect. Are we AQ packing now? Clearly it's this one. Is it really a square? It's a square. Oh, it's this exactly. So, nice thing about... I think I could chill out with this for a second. Can you go away? And I need a bigger monitor for Blender. I could definitely use ultra wide. This should be S.5. And then Q for that. G. That should perfectly trim into that. Okay, so far so good. That is absolutely perfect. This is the other side. Same thing over here. Project from view, AQ, pack, S.5. I'll put it on the other side even. Oh. Now this one is exactly 1 meter tall, so I could actually divide it in half, which I'm not going to do it in the... If I want it segmented, this is perfect too. This should be fine. So if I do this one, AQ, pack, get rid of constrain, and we scale S2... Okay, I wish it was scale. Okay, let's scale from the bottom from this. So we want to scale from our cursor without constrain S2. There it is. It's got sidewalk sections on it, but still. This is working out. That's fine for me. Like if we wanted it to be like, you know, a hero-y type prop, I'd go and like sculpt it in like ZBrush and give like each piece like its own like little distress. But this is more like a, well, I don't know what you call it, medium level. I don't know what you call this type of prop. It's not a hero prop though. I don't want to spend time on it. I just want to make it. It just divides up space. And as long as, and if the textures are all kind of the same, it probably shouldn't be using like a sidewalk texture. It looks a little bit weird, but anyway. So that's a perfect tile for that one. And what I'm really looking for are these corners to be smooth, which I, again, it has a sidewalk texture, so it's kind of broken up weird, but I think we're hitting the normals correctly on that part. So let's make sure we're scaled. We would have already had, I basically do planar stuff, so it doesn't really matter, but. So this part, I have some thoughts. So if I project from here, grab this one, R90, your pivot's down there because I told it to be. I could just put it in here and I could unfold into like that. But this is a seamless texture. So if I do that, I could unfold it into the middle. It's going to be really crunched here and then really stretched there. The other way is to subdivide the mesh naturally there, which is what I'm going to do. I should have box UV'd this. Box modeled it, because they're not triangles, but like these trapezoids make it less straightforward to gridify this, because there's no grid of this. So I'm going to retopo this. And I follow this thing called like Blender Tips Daily or some shit on like Instagram. And man, is that helpful. That was really helpful. It was like, you can hold, I screenshotted it. It's like, you do the knife tool and then you hold something and it makes it straight, probably shift. And then like, then it's another hotkey to cut through. So what I need to do is cut through like that all the way through the mesh. Still don't know how to do it. Like I'm gonna just do it by hand. I'm gonna cut, and then just scale them on X and then delete that. But it's more polygons to fence model this, but it's a lot easier to UV. And then I'm gonna basically treat each one of these as a panel, and I'll put the curb top up there. And this wants to be like dirt, so I could eventually put dirt in it. But I could basically make a static mesh that's just the dirt and some plants, or just the dirt. I'll probably make a planter trim that's basically like for like a bunch of different size planters, and it has like mulch, dirt, and grass as part of the trim set, and then the rest is the concrete that goes around it. And I would want to have... Session does a really good job of not only having the bevel baked into the corner, but they also put like a kind of like a cementy welding detail in it, which I think I know how to do now. You just do it right in Painter, like right here. You just go like that, but you don't mess up the normal. You like add the normal over it. I don't know, I gotta play with that. But I cannot, I'm not going to be able to UV this how I want. Oh, and it's going to put a seam there. And this is too much thinking time for a planter already. I should have modeled it the way I knew I should have. It's probably easier to just undo back out of this than to fix the top one. I just remodel this whole thing in like 2 seconds. Let me see how far back I can undo. I don't feel like doing like the knife retopple. I don't like the knife. I'm still not that fun. I think we hit the undo limit. Yeah, okay. Almost want to just redo this. Then cut this, and then delete it. I'm gonna just remake it. It's pretty easy. So in general for trims or trimability, I should be doing box cuts into these pieces. I shouldn't do any picture frame cuts like that, or bevels or whatever they're called. Everything should be a box because it has to trim. Everything has to be a box. Yeah, everything has to be a box. So lesson learned already today. We'll go Z. What happened? Z 0.1. Wow, 0.5. Okay. Q, origin to cursor, freeze transforms, and we go again. So we will just do edge loop cuts like that. I don't have to be fancy, but I'm going to try to be. So SX, what's this number? To make that 20, I think we said? 2.5. Well, I can, as long as I have the loops, I can go move I can just move the pixels after the, whatever they're called. The edge loops by hand. Yeah, I'll just move by hand. C4. On apps, are we on grid snap? Where are we in here? Grid snap absolute, yeah. Okay, so I'll just put this here. Yeah, because these all turn into quad strips, which is essentially like what we're doing for trim sheets. They're all squares in the end. Looking for the Y key. That other thing, the piece that was already there, I would have had to basically like delete the have like retopoed it and then done that exact thing anyway. I'm gonna just do it again. E negative 0.2 or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. And so we don't, if I do this right, I shouldn't have to actually add bevels to it, especially for like a non-hero-y prop. We want this to have like the lowest number of polygons as possible. Trim sheets. This one, right? Okay, and then with Z2. Okay, so start this again. I mean, so planar A pack S 0.5 done. Planar AQ S 0.5. It's like GX 0.5. Yeah. Houdini time. This one, project from view, AQ, turn off constrain, S2. Same thing on the other side. I could like flip it the other way. You'll never see both sides at the same time, so it doesn't really matter. Pack, AQ, pack, S2. So that's fine for those. I guess I'll do the bottom real quick because that's pretty easy. The top's the tricky part. I could come and like dissolve edges out now, but once you topo it, bring it down to like its absolute lowest poly, but I don't think it matters all that much. And I mean, technically I should like S2 this, but at the bottom doesn't matter. But consider, that's kind of how we're subdividing this is, oh, I had that selected. Let's undo that. Ouch. Okay. But eventually I want to do chaos engine to all this stuff, so I should probably UV everything correctly just in case, like everything is a hero side. Whereas in a video game, you probably would just delete this whole face out completely. Normal video game. Oops, I scaled the actual mesh. There we go. Okay. So we've made this like planter like a bunch of sidewalk pieces. I still buy it for now. And then this should be more straightforward now. So project. It's gonna be this. I'm gonna make it. Should it be the tiling, the non-tiling part? It should probably just be stretched into here. I'm really looking for the normals on, unfortunately, both of these corners, so it does matter. I don't have a trim for this. And now having looked at this, I know what trims to make when I do it. I would take this strip, make it 20 as well, and then have smaller tiled ones in it. So I'm going to make my next trim, which might be today. I'll do that. The modeling and the trims kind of go together. Jesus. Okay. So, R90. Ah, it's doing it from the origin. Stop that for now. Median point. Or is it bounding box? I don't remember. So I'm just going to put this. I'm going to stretch it. Let's see how bad the stretching is when I do this. Experiment. SY. GX, kind of center it, and then SX. Let's see how terrible this is. It's dry. I have the heat on. Let's keep putting S. I can do GX. SX. I want to flip it so the dark edge is on the other side. Now you're from the center, so if I do R180, there we go. And so this is where also we pick up some free, if I make sure that this, I mean, this is how I think, so I would always have the faces facing up, that this is facing up. So if I put like, you know, drippy, watery, textury shit here, I pick up all that for free. If I go like this is like the clean cement version. If I go make the dirty one, I just have to make sure that I think about the orientation, and then I can just swap that material onto this and is good to go. So that one's going to be squished in. These are ones that are going to be stretched out. This piece here. And I think that's just like the nature of doing trim sheet things. But I'm going to put that one into here. It's not going to be that bad, I don't think. Like, it's not that much stretching. SX. Oh, we're not centered either. Or this trim is not centered. I don't know which one. I'm just going to do it by vertex at this point. So GX to there. I don't know what my border, like there's a padding you're supposed to do for this. I think that's more for the 45-degree style ultimate trim. I don't think it matters for this as much. There. Like that. Okay. So we don't have like the continuation of this line across there. I could attempt to do that. I could UV this so that we have that line here. Like if I span it there, that's gonna be a little bit too much for me though. I don't care enough to do it, but it would be. We could do some UV trickery. It's interesting that that's not centered, like. Or is it? And this is not centered. I think that's not centered, but I'm just gonna do it per vertex. But for certain operations, I like to try to stay like parametric. I typically normalize it back across U, and then. But once we're doing this like non-uniform scaling stuff, it's like whatever. We're just eyeballing now. I could probably get even closer than that, but okay. Oh, there's these interfaces too. I forgot about that. These are the same. I could stack them too. I'll just do them one at a time, whatever. This is all practice and need to internalize if this is actually working or not. This one, I don't have to pack it, just R90. That didn't work. Why not? R90. Alright, okay. So what did we use? We're using like the Kirby part for the top. I could have used this too. I'll use that for the inside. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what I'm doing. I'll use this for the inside maybe. I'm not sure. And then this. Did we scale this? How did I make this? How did I do this before? Where's the other one? What did I decide on? Oh, I scaled it across. Yeah, that's what. Okay, that's fine. So we want to kind of keep it proportioned because it's 3 polygons together. Oh, that's pretty much it right there. Yeah, this trimming is like, it's like makes it fun. It's like you gotta do a rep. It's kind of, I like it. Because otherwise, if you do every piece separately, I mean, I should still make my own smart materials, but it's like just remembering how to apply the same like cement texture to another object in Substance Designer, and make that's its own feat of organization. This doesn't really matter because I kind of intend this getting covered up, but I could basically just pack this one, like, I'll put it at the top because that's kind of how we did it, right? Like kind of like, oh no, there's 1, 2, 3. So if I did 1, 2, no, it doesn't work out. So, I mean, whatever, you don't see it, and I think that would be, if you did see it, it feels like a water. If we put like water in there instead, it's fine. I think I could just straight up unwrap that one. It keeps the proportion right. That seems fine. Do I have the constraint on? No. That seems okay. And then when we do it like this, that's 20. So this is a no number. I think it's GY.5. It's not. It's not exactly on there. The bottom is. Hold on. Let me project from view. I thought that would have been perfect. Like project from view. It's because it's not a full 400 across. That's why I see. Okay, that's fine. And where am I going to put this? I guess we're doing like the half divide. I think I'm just going to stretch it. So we're like not matching up like, because this is a sidewalk with tiles. We're not matching up like the tile to wrap around or anything, but as long as I get the smooth edge, that's all I really care about. Even if there's like some like weird, we have like some of them have tiles in them, some of them do not. Could also stretch it into just this one. Actually, it's easier to stretch it in. Never mind, I take that back. It's much easier to stretch this way. That has the least amount of like distortion. And then SY like that. Yeah, that was the least amount of badness to do to that piece. Oh no. Yeah, it's because it doesn't span the 400. The textile density got not uniform. It's actually going to be like some, because this is 20 and this is 20, it's some sort of pretty clean number if I had to figure it out and use that number to keep textile density. What did I do last time? I just scaled there. I just like put it like SY up to here. It's pretty good on the height. And then we'll just SX until we're about there. A little bit more. SY. Good, we're centered. Yeah, I like this workflow. This is awesome. I don't know. I don't know how I was gonna do it if I didn't do something like this. So this is literally like the curb on the road. So I may end up like making a new trim and then having to like redo this, but this is kind of just like practice to see if this is gonna work out for me. R90. And so I guess there's no real way to like have this be perfect on the inside, but we can get the top to be right. So I just put it in here. I mean, there's probably some way, but I don't care, basically. That. Seems fine. And then this was the last little part over there. Q, unwrap. Yo, A, R90. We'll just scale it back in. I'll just put it on the bottom one. Doesn't matter at all. Boom. Okay. So not perfect, probably, but the angle, actually, is it? Yeah. So the hope is that this feels rounded and smooth on all of like the corners that you really see, which the inner ones are not all that important. So these outer corners, we pick up the free beveling that we did in the normal. And then again, it's like, it has consistent materials, too consistent in this case with the sidewalk. But if we make like a concrete wall concrete like planter trim, they'd all be the same. Even if I made like 10 different variations, they'd all be, I have a way of keeping them like looking like they're all made from the same like style, like architect or whoever designs these kind of things. So I'll check this out. Q export FBX. God, that's gonna save so much time. That will save a lot of time. Now this is not really a road, but I'm gonna put it in here. It's not like it's I don't know. I have to make a lot of pieces before I kind of know how to categorize these. So this is like a planter. Planter is planter like its own thing. Planter. I have no idea. Ledge. I want to make ledges basically next and stairs. Stairs and use the same. I should probably make a cement trim for stairs because they shouldn't be the curbs. It's like curbs going. Yeah. So I need to make like a concrete city trim before I probably make too many more of these. But I think this one's enough. Like so, we'll call it planter type 1. Wait a minute. No, this is the SM. Yeah, so we're giving types to the static meshes, and that's it. I don't really... Planter 1. That's fine. As I only have one, I don't know how many I'm going to make. I don't know. So, let's add this to the collection here. Static mesh, import, planter, don't make materials, and then just apply this on there. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever had... Oh, this one. It's not gonna work, is it? No. I need that to open like over there. But I'll just do it like this. Yeah, it's the first time I'm like reusing a material like this. So those aren't like the necessary like appropriate materials for it, but like it does work for this. So kind of awesome. I need to go make like a concrete city trim, but that's beyond the scope of today. Today we're just working on the roads. I need to make the residential version, which should be fairly easy, and then I'll put grass on it. Not yet. In a little bit, okay? In a little bit. I'm gonna make a class for this real quick. Duplicate. So this is technically a prop. I haven't made the new prop class, so I'm going to keep it in this for now, which is bad. This is going to have to get redone. This is just planter type 1. Or planter 01. I don't write the type in the name here. 01. So let me add it to the database and then add it to that prefab. Oh, this is going to be kind of... This sucks. I guess if I make the snapping system for it 1010... That's basically what the... That's how I default snap anything. But these have like even more parameters for it. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to... I don't know how these all tie together just yet. Just gotta put it out there and see how people do with it. What's up? Planter. This guy. What? Same material.
What's your favorite color then?
I like green.
Dark or light?
Light. I can make a me. That's fun. So I think this is centered now. Wait a minute. What is this positioning? Now, does this piece stay centered when you place it or not? I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Where's the visual center? Yeah, so I gotta reset this. So this little transform in this class is where the flashlight points. Now, where is the center of this object? I can't tell what's happening here. Where's this? There it is. Okay, so we're off. Hold on. So we're gonna go to here. That's the center, and this is the visual center. I'm gonna reset that, and it's gonna go to. I think that'll work. Ugly planter, but still, it works. If you haven't done... Oh yeah, I read that word. Okay, so here's the planter class. It's going to snap on 10s, so basically not snap at all. So add it to the database, which is that not open? I should just keep that thing open, the department. Stick that there. And then I'll stick it in the prefab too. Red? I think I have red lips.
See?
Planter 400. That works.
But,
I like that one.
but Daddy.
I'll have to go make screenshots of all these. I guess I'm putting this in roads.
What? No.
I'm gonna go put it in the prefab too, and then I'll test building with it.
Ash, which mouth? The no teeth or with teeth?
Let's go with teeth. I have teeth.
Okay, this one?
Where's this? It's this one.
Daddy?
Yeah. It's a nice smiley situation. Let's put some planters in. And then I have to make the planters with, like, I don't know if I'm gonna do. I should, cause like, say we make like really big planters, it should all come from the same trim. So I'll have like the grass and the dirt built into that as well. Those we have to be fairly big pieces though. How's that gonna work? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Planter.
Dad, what hairstyle? Spike down or spike up? Spike down or
I like that spiky one. That works.
up or down? This one? This one? Touch it, okay?
I don't know what the idea is with planters. I don't know like how they get placed in the world. These are more free. These are more like just set dressing than I think they have to snap to like any sort of rule.
Dad, do you want a hat?
Could be wrong though.
Dad, do you want
I'll just
a
place
hat?
them.
Dad, do you want a hat or no hair or hair? A hat, no hair?
I don't want them to like perfectly line up with the sidewalk that it's like super obvious that they're the same. But actually I kind of do. Oh well, I'll snap it like a computer did it. Let's just keep it like right on the grid.
No hair?
See how bad that looks. You probably have an opening for this. So this is already not the best. Sure, what do you want to tell me?
Do you want no bald hair or a hat or hair? Do you want hair or hair?
I'll take hair. Okay, well let's go look at the prefab and then we'll also look at them on their own.
You want to take a hat because I see you're wearing a hat.
2 gigs left? That's bad. That's not so good.
The hat is called. Use a hat.
Let's compile. That must be what's happening here. Oh boy. Can't play an editor when performing add component operation. Well, close that.
Which
Whoa. Can't play an editor when performing a... Well, okay. Let's
which
close that. Come back in.
Now which eyes? Which eyes? Higher or open?
I like the open one.
Dad, do you want like these ones? Hey Dad, these ones look creepy.
The circle eyes? I like the circle eyes. I like those.
Yeah, but they're a little bit creepy.
They're a little creepy.
Yeah, because
I mean, all those Mii's are kind of creepy.
I hear your fan.
Yeah, my PC is extremely loud. That's because it has, I used to have like 4 GPUs in it. It does not anymore. I've never seen cannot play an editor because it's creating a child component actor. But I'm backed up. I don't know what I did today. That's kind of the good part of this stuff is like it's just art. Like worst case I just re-import the meshes and make the materials and say whatever. It's not as tragic as like having to revert back programming. Where I might not I may not be as smart today as I was when I made that. Let's see if all that stuff saved. It should. Okay, so there's like the well, let's do the install. It didn't save the curbs, or did I know? Oh no, they're over there. Okay, Jesus. It's like that starts to send off a list of a lot of issues in my head if that's not saving. I'm like, oh god, why would that be? So planter, what a great logo or icon for that. Interesting. It's not. Oh, what the fuck is that? Why is that floating? Oh, oh. This is real finicky with the height because it's on base 10 snap. Ooh. I gotta change this to the prop class. This is not gonna work as is. This is interesting. Well, this is good to know. I haven't had objects like this before in the game. A block with a base with a height that's that low. It's just you can't do this. I mean you can get it, but it's not really gonna work. That's a very tall planter. I can plant my own grass in it, but I'm kind of moving away from this style. I don't think people are really using this, and so I'm just gonna do it. Like we could technically, like, you know, not that that's the right grass for it, but I'm gonna pre-put. I think that makes more sense for us to put the grass in it, pre-art directed. Oops, I deleted the whole planter. I have to leave room and close the door when my PC renders. It's so loud. Yeah. Mine's super loud. I wish it luckily this mic is designed to be like close. It's like a close, I forget what you call it. Close deliver mic or whatever. So that thing is massively loud, but when I'm doing like VO for the game and YouTube videos or whatever, it doesn't hear it too bad. This is not like a great planter, but it's, you know, we're trim sheeting. So let me grab the whole prefab. That's good, Shoshi. Just starting to dress it up more like as a, okay, so like this is like super claustrophobic. I suppose, or no, like you would just I mean, you can get rid of those and then it's like more viable. And now the tiling set doesn't quite look so good on it, but I'll just start to slowly unify this. It's all coming from the same trim sheet, so it's either like actually changing the trim sheet a little bit, making another one for planters, or well, one of those things. We're UVing, but they all use the same thing. So that this sidewalk, this, it's all the same trim. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of like it's just like having like mini non-square seamless materials on one piece. Atlasing is like the more generic, I suppose. I've just never atlased anything before, and this is like the use case for it. So let me look at the lighting actually on these. That's the other thing, is like I wasn't sure, like on those pieces over there, I beveled them, and I was like, I guess you beveled this before I figured out how to trim them. So now I don't. I'm just gonna, everything's just gonna be cubed, just a cube. Let's look at the lighting. It's pretty smooth. The corners are like, yeah, the corners got it. I don't think it's perfect because it's like not seamed exactly right, but they shouldn't have like that super hard. This edge is kind of hard. Let me see if I hit it directly in the face of the sun. It's kind of hard to get the angle on it. I need to check it out. There's like a black seam which kind of calls attention to itself, but it doesn't feel like that soft there, or smooth, or whatever one got rounded. It doesn't. It's, you know, the bevel normal, as long as it's a little distorted on certain parts, but overall, oops. I should have that turn off when you switch back by default. But it's doing it. You know, it makes the hard edges smoother. We're using textures. We shouldn't use like the sidewalk texture on the side. It looks kind of dumb, especially as you start to put like, you know, materials that are for there. So we'll definitely do like a concrete city trim that are kind of big, but they'll be for like planters and stairs, I think is what it would want to be. The planters and stairs. Oh, that looks good. It's a new me.
It's a me.
It looks nice.
They're not gonna use.
Yeah. So like these ones I brought in and I actually beveled them, which is necessary if you're gonna like do like kind of like deeper destruction stuff and ZBrushing them. Then these do a really good job of holding that detail. You would bring it in smooth as opposed to hardened. So this was just this was like only a couple days ago, but this was still part of the iteration cycle. Whereas now I feel pretty confident I can execute it like that, reduce the geometry, simplify my life in general, and just trim it like that. And I'll kind of see after like this week or so, I'm going to try to push the PC version of this, like how many trims I end up with. I think it's going to be 2. And pretty very likely that the trim that I use for this concrete that will also be like exterior industrial stairs is this trim, because then they would match. It would look nice. It could always be different. And then like longer term, as I make like more and more buildings, if you trim the same way every time, which that's what the ultimate trim method is that everything's always UV'd to the trim style, and you never have to ever think about it. You can just swap out any material for like any of the trims can swap out for each other. Like I can make it like sci-fi metal, and it would all fit together. I haven't figured out what my ultimate trim setup's going to be yet. It's probably like 100. No, it's going to be 200, 100. And then from there, I'm not sure. Like if it's like 20, 20, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, or whatever, like it rounds out to be. I haven't designed mine yet. So I'm okay to just like eventually come up with like what my master trim is for the game, if I ever do that. And then just remake these ones if I have to. It's fine. But sidewalks are going to get their own trim. Concrete gets its own trim. And I'll try to share that one with this warehouse set, because they're kind of these kind of go together for now. But yeah, it's already starting to look like kind of a city. These are a little bit tall, but I think it's viable. Like, and what I kind of want now is a this is fun for me. Like, I want to make a curb, like a square curb with dirt in it, and then like a tree in here, like a planter, you know, it just goes like plops right in there. The thing is, the snapping is going to be a little bit off grid, but you should be able to do it fairly easy. But then now it's like I could just make all these variations of curbs and all this stuff, and it's all like kind of like predestined how it should go. Could you use displacement as a trim sheet? Use displacement as a trim sheet. What do you mean? I don't do any tessellation at the moment. It's too expensive, and your meshes have to be really dense to pick up on it. I used to do tessellated landscapes, but I hate how I mean it's like a design thing, but like you get weird disconnects between the landscapes when they LOD with the tessellation, and you just, it has to be done right. So I'm still not, I could never make them look good. They look good up close, that you have like all this like, you know, mega scans detail popping out of it, but like overall I could never make it very good. So I need to get better at using tessellation and displacement in Unreal, and like height based blending and stuff like that. I'm still not very good at that. Yeah, I'm gonna make that planter. Now I think I'm gonna make the concrete trim. I should make the concrete trim. Let me go look at like city stuff real quick. I could make that trim, and then I could make like all sorts of stuff like half staircase, all this like city stuff. It's like should all use that same piece, and just to keep dressing up that sidewalk so that people, this is all for like that initial impression of the 0.5 the first time you use it. City cement. What if I just wrote that? What's that gonna do? It's like a name of a company. This is not helpful. All right, planter. City planter. Oh, forget it. It's cement. Oh yeah, this is it. These are them. Oh, these are exactly what I'm trying to make. Hold on. Oh yeah? What? Oh, those are them. We'll make the, and then if I trim them correctly, I can switch them to metal ones too. So I should really think about these ones. Are those the same as like something like that? That's very tall. I don't know if that's gonna trim correctly. I think it would. I think this is still the cement trim. So there's circle ones. That's easy. Then there's the square ones. Yeah, this is exactly the type of city planning dressing. That one. That's, yeah, they're great. They're great examples to start with because they're so simple. They're just boxes and cylinders that have holes extruded through them. What am I looking for? I don't know what I'm looking for. Oh, okay. So like this one has like a, you know, like a bevel in them. That could be something we do consistently through all of them. Again, it's executed purely through the trim sheet. I'm looking for the size of the tile, basically. So these are squares. This is a long rectangle all the way across the U. This is This could be repeating without borders. You then lose the if you want to round the trim out here, you do need an edge. So this could be all the way across but not repeated. All the way across, not repeated. This has to be a seamless one. So we need one seamless one. We need one that's squares. It is repeated. One that's full long and repeated, and that's the squares one. And these could be different trims. Like this one's like little pebbles with like this hard trim up here. This one's full flat concrete, and this one's full flat concrete with a line at the top. That's all those details are executed at the trim level. Has nothing to do with like the actual geometry of the mesh. And then the tops. We need skinny top pieces for those. We need skinny ones that repeat it square, and we need ones that are long. And I could make all three of these with just the trim sheet. That's different than the sidewalk by quite a bit, isn't it? So let me think about this for a second. I'm gonna try to make that trim sheet, and then build those planters and rebuild that other planter. Okay, I forget. Did I build the trims here? No, I build the trims like in their own thing. They can get to be large. They kind of muddy up this project. So I'll make a new one. So let's see if I can remember how you build trims. So this is trim sidewalk. Let's make trim planter. They're really trim planters, which planters add a lot to the city. I mean, like it starts to fill it in quite a bit. Trim planters 01. It's probably not stairs. Stairs is gonna have metal elements on it, right? For like the handrails. Yeah, stairs would have handrails in them, and like little. They'd have like more like concrete, like normal stamps in them and stuff like that. So this is just purely a planter. So this is kind of like getting out of scope or whatever, but whatever. Hey, that's not what I wanted to do. But I still want to do it. Okay. So let's start with a plane here. It's going to be I'll just scale it here. It's going to be 4 meters. This is the top. It's too cost effective for games as well. Sticking to normal. Yeah, no, I used to want to have, if I'm doing like path tracing or like, you know, we're just rendering out a sequencer, then I'll turn all that stuff on. But yeah, for a game that I'm trying to make run on an iPad eventually, iPad Pro, none of that shit. I don't even do glass right now. I don't do any transparencies. It's all either straight masked or just high poly. Which I'm interested to stress test the iPad Pro poly-wise. So we'll cut it here. I don't ever need trims that big. All the trims are going to be about 1 meter tall, and our textile density is 512 per meter. Which I've been testing 512 per meter for Cinetracer is completely fine, which made the 4K textures I used to make like so dumb. So if I do this, each one of these is essentially 1 meter tall at this point. None of these planters will be bigger than 1 meter tall. So that's going to give me that division. So this is a seamless one. Then we do one with panels. Then we cut it in at least in half. There's almost nothing that is actually that. There's a lot of very small ones. Let me look back. We need a seamless one. We need a square one for that one. And the seamless one is that circle one as well. So that handles the sides. For the tops, these are going to be those are going to be extruded in at 20. So we need a bunch of different 20 pieces. You're supposed to do like, you know, big, small, small, small. I tend to like put them in the middle. That's probably just not the way to do it. So let's just start cutting in here into the 20s. We'll do this one. I'll realign it perfectly. Another so a 20, a 20 that's seamless, a 20 that's divided. That leaves me what, a 60 and a 100. I don't need these. What would these be? What could I could make a taller one out of this 160 piece. I could have this be just like freestyle end pieces, but I don't really need those. I don't really need that. I don't need these pieces at the moment, but I should do something with them. Seamless tiled, and then these two, I don't need that at the moment. Like, what's that gonna be? it could be, I could stamp, I could take this one into ZBrush and like stamp like, I could make metal. I could make this like metal for some reason. I have almost no need for those. What if I want to like cap the tops as metal? Let's make some 10s. I don't typically go to this level, so hold on, let me undo those cuts. I'll just leave this as another 100. I don't know what I'm gonna use it for, but then I'll do one here, one here. I'll just make a bunch, I guess. Like this, and then a 10 there. I gotta go back and snap these into position, but like something like that. And I don't know what that's gonna be, but I'll figure it out. So let me go snap these back into place. This is a new file, so I'm gonna update my grid snap. So GY10. So we got some little ones and we got a bunch of 20s. And then I gotta break them up. Some of them are seamless on the edge and then some of them are tiled on the edge.
Okay, Mom.
I'm probably gonna end up doing exactly what the most trim sheets are, but I'm just trying to freestyle it and find out for myself why that is. So I'm not, I could just follow it blindly or just end up coming back to it. I'd rather come back to it and kind of know why I did that. So 100, 100, 100, 20, 20, 20, 20, and then 10, 10. These could be metal. This is what I'm feeling like. Like this could be a seamless metal and a tiled metal. And we're going to tile at the 100 marks. Okay. Let's go ahead and view the wireframe for this part. It's pretty helpful. Won't you do it for something like a brick wall? Nah, you never see it. Unless you're like completely sideways to the wall, you never sense, you don't need there's parallax occlusion mapping and there's tessellation. You almost never need it. You see it on the floor a lot. Like if you're doing like an organic floor that's supposed to be pebbles and it's just actually flat. My daughter's playing the new Pokemon game behind me. Hold on, I'm gonna turn the volume down on that shit. Oh, I kicked my camera. It's a pretty heavy performance hit, and I don't typically need it, unless I'm doing like virtual production out of the sequencer. Then I'll take every single visual trick of the book. But for video games, I don't think so. Parallax displacement, yeah, it's super expensive for what it gives you, which isn't much unless it's the floor and it's like wet and you're lighting it for the reflection. Then you see like all the bumps, but like in stuff like this, you would never see it. Okay, so we've done seamless tiled, I don't know, seamless tiled, I guess seamless tiled again, and then seamless and tiled. That's how I'll break this up. So I gotta break these all by selection now, so 3. So P, 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 P. Hooray. So are we going to name these? I probably should, but they all get merged kind of back together. It kind of doesn't matter. Is naming this going to matter to me? Going to not. Okay, so we're going to take this one. We'll go seamless and then tiled. And then I got to figure out what bevels, how much beveling I want on each piece. So we'll do 4, which will break them up into... So if I make a planter that's like 100 by 100 by 100, that's this. And the bevel corners will happen there. For the circular one, we'll use... That's a lot of texture on it, but it's going to stretch it kind of weird. If I make a 1 meter... What's the circumference of a... 2 pi r or something like that? I don't think a 1 meter circumference it probably wraps to like here or something. But we'll take this completely seamless for the circular one, and any piece I need to be seamless. This one, let's do we'll do one in the middle. So that's the variation. We'll do this one, tiled. All right, so these are going to be tiled ones. This is a seamless. That makes sense. That's perfect. Seamless. Then we'll cut this one into 4, like that. And then this one will cut into 3. What is this? That's the seamless, and then that. We could cut one in half too. as I'm like kind of needing things to do. Yeah, that works. All the same material basically. And then these are going to be seamless, and then this one I'll cut into four metal trims at the top if I decide to do that. So that's the trim layout. That seems pretty useful. Could I build stairs with this? I could. That's a full wide stair. It's a little short. It's a little thin. 10 centimeter stairs, 20 centimeter stairs. It's not bad. I gotta figure out what my uniform stair height's gonna be. I could just make a 30 version. So this is like a half stair. This is a full stair that has like bricks kind of in it. And then what's the top of the stair? The top of the stair would maybe be like these. Stair trim probably gets its own trim, but maybe not. Maybe I could eventually, because these are all going to be like concretes. Probably be all the same color. It's going to be the same substance paper material, basically like right on this thing. Okay, I think this is pretty good. So time to bevel stuff. Now these are all going to get pretty much the same. So I can do tab 3, A, E, like it doesn't really matter, like 0.2, 20 centimeters. This one is seamless, so we'll do them one at a, oh, we have to do them one at a time. The bevel of 0.4 was a little heavy, and I'm not going to do these parametric because it's not worth it. This whole thing this whole process I'm about to do, I almost guarantee I can rate this in Houdini. And next time I have to do this, I just click a couple parameters. Now we need to scale everything correctly. Hold on. Make sure that everything is, can I trust that? I think the way that I created them, they default, there was no scaling in anything, so it's okay. Okay. I named it those last time. I don't think I have to. So we're going to take this piece and this piece. I was also doing procedural beveling, but I'm not going to. I don't know if it likes the center over there. We'll find out. It seems to be okay. Okay, so we'll do like, oh, I was going to do flats, 45s instead of rounds. Should I do 45-degree bevels instead? I'll do 45s. I don't know. I haven't done it yet, so we'll kind of see what happens. If I do like a point, that's gigantic. 0.5, that's the wrong way. 0.05, 0.02. 0.02 looks about right. 0.02 bevel on both sides gives me 0.01 space in a 2048 is not very much pixel room between those to hit that border, but before I was rounding them, this would be a 45-degree angle. I hope this doesn't suck, but I'm going to do them as 45s because that's how the ultimate trim works, is you do it at 45-degree angles like that. Find out. I don't know. Whatever. The experimentation continues. Blender today is about to start. Oh, the live stream? Oh, cool. Yeah, let me know if they actually drop the new version. Now, are these separate objects? What happened here? Please bevel separately. F. What happened? Okay, wait. Crap, I need to go back. I don't think I have enough go backs to do that though. Let me see. Undos. Go backs. Maybe I do. That's gonna suck. Oh god, I was selecting so much stuff. Ah, damn it. Is there an undo memory limit here? Let me up this to like 1,000. Where's the undo limit? Interface. Menus, text rendering. I need a lot of undos. Themes, viewport. It's not themes, viewport. I can see that being here. No. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah? Is it like...
Well, the heating guy wants to come.
It's early.
She's eating lunch now. When she's done, can I just send her up to the
Sure. Yes. I will stop then, though. Okay. Oh, well, though. Where's the... is it system? Undo step. So I wonder what the... 100? Crap. So I beveled... Oh, shit. I gotta do all these again. I gotta separate again. Oh, that sucks. What's gonna be a quick way to do this? Let me do this all. I think I can do this all at once through like somewhat clever selection. Ah, this sucks. Okay, I gotta redo these. So if I do 3 Alt Z, I should be able to just take all these faces off. Okay, that's pretty easy. And then I gotta sub-separate all of these too. So how's that gonna work? Can I do this? P, 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 that one, that one, that one, that one, this one. Okay. So now they're all separates. The other ones are the seamless ones, and now when I select all of them, tab 3A, E, 0.2, negative 0.2? Does that mean the normals are flipped? Blender kind of like handles that for me, I feel like. We'll see how we did here. That would suck to have to redo this, but if I have to, I'll just fucking do it. Hardest part is just committing to the dimensions and the bevels. 6 a.m. Wow, it's 6 a.m. Where do you live? Jesus. Oh, in Australia. Wow. Oh my God, you're with like, yeah, you're in like literally the other side of the world. So these are separates now. Technically, I don't need to bevel the bottom. What's this 45-degree angle gonna look like if I leave them flat like that? I don't anticipate that looking so good. I'm gonna round it. I'll save the, so 0.02 is pretty like, doesn't show up all that much. 0.04, however, is a little bit big. Guess that leaves us at 0.03. Let me go look at the game real quick. I know which ones are beveled at what. Let me see. 1 second. You can't tell without lighting. This is all for the lighting. There's a little bit of like shadow albedo stuff that happens, but like there's the texture. There it is. So because these are all these bevels. See, if you look closely, they're faceted. I don't care, because like there's enough. The back here, it's fine. Eventually, I'll ZBrush all of this, so they're not straight lines. But I'm not at that point of polish yet, where I'm gonna spend like an hour painting or sculpting curbs. These are 0.04. This is 0.02. I'm looking at the planter, actually. The planter was, I don't know. I forget what the planter is. Let me look. I think it's 0.02. I think we're going to do small ones. I think it's 0.02, almost. Based on what I've made so far. That's why I want it to be procedural. So I don't have to like pick it right now. There's the... Those are point... I don't know what that is actually. What is this piece? This is the... What is this UV'd to? This is double those. So it's half. That's 0.02 because that's 0.04 times 2. So it's half. It's 0.02. Okay, we'll do 0.02. And I don't like the I don't trust the 45-degree angle for these corners, and I'll up this to like 8. This is the high poly bake, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so there's pillow cushions. I gotta redo. Oops. This one, like that. The most I'll go is commit to a piece is 7 a.m. You mean modeling stuff? I don't model at night. I'm out of here by. Well, I'm about to be out of here at like noon, but yeah, I don't do that anymore. So this whole piece is going to be 8 segments at 0.02. And like the step in between this, if you like have the time and care is to take this into ZBrush. You gotta divide it up a ton so that you don't get like ridiculous super edges on this thing. Actually, you could do this beveling in ZBrush if you feel like you know it enough. You go and sculpt it so that they have like nice edge wear and stuff, which is, it looks good, but for me it's still just too early in the process to do that. But once all these trims are in place, then it's like I can basically take this exact file, push it to ZBrush, bake it from a sculpted version, and then reapply the same materials in Substance Painter, and then just the UVs should all be the same. I just have to. It's just making a new texture from the new high poly. Just type it in 0.02, and the pillow cushions are created. This one doesn't have pillow cushions. This one does. So at this point, these are all going to be the same, except for the little ones. They probably get a smaller bevel, and possibly these ones get a smaller bevel too. So I'll kind of look at it. Oops. Undo. ISO. Okay, we're missing one. That one. ISO. This is also like a way of making like seamlessly tiling textures. I mean, that's basically what we're doing. Like in ZBrush, you base mesh it like this and then sculpt them, and then do your best to. You have to turn on like the edge wrapping when you sculpt it. So I think 0.02 is still going to be okay. That looks great. That's perfect. I think we're still okay. These are the tops of the planters. These pieces possibly. And then we get like different lengths, and they all are tiled, which except for this one is not tiled in case I need an entirely tiled piece. We'll see how that works out for me. This piece. Wait a minute. Did I do it? I didn't do this one. Let me do this one. Just keep it in order. So because this one's for seamless, we just do the tops like that. 0.02. Alright, so this one will have a seamless edge when you bake it. So will this one. This one we might bevel at half, whatever that was. It's like a tiny bevel, but it's really mostly for the material. So this is my first like 10. I don't think you do lower than 10. I'm not sure. I don't know. This is 0.01 at 8. That's pretty dense. So that's our seamless one, and then these are 100 wide each, and they get the full bevel even to the bottoms, which doesn't show up in the bake, but it's just easier to select everything than just the tops. So we'll do 0.01 at 8 segments, like that. So that's a trim, almost. For planters. I mean, I'm pretty sure like almost all trims basically look like this. It's like you might do like my other one had like a 200 by 200. It just depends what you're going to model it at. You kind of have to know the proportions beforehand. So I don't do a lot of 10. That's the thing. I don't do a lot of things that are 10 wide. Most things are 20, but we have these pieces, and I think I was going to make these metal. I don't know why. I forget. But we'll see. Okay, so almost done. Tim flips his to be straight up. It baked it fine like this for me. So we need to edge tile on both sides. This is kind of the pain in the ass part. So duplicate on X, -1. Duplicate on X to be -4. Duplicate on X, -2. This one's gonna be funny. Duplicate on X, 1.3, -1.33333 forever. Duplicate on X, -1. Duplicate on X, -4. Duplicate on X is -1.333 forever. Whatever the precision of Blender's at. 4 precision. -1. -4. And the other side, x4, we get x.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Can you set her up the backpack for you?
Sure. Okay, that's gonna wrap it up for this stream. I'm gonna keep building this stuff, but we'll have trims. I'm gonna build some planters, and I'll be back tomorrow. Damn, it's early.
So I got
Doing more of this for the week. I'm gonna do this for the entire week. Make new trims, make new things. It's fine. See ya. And hopefully ship it on Friday for PC-ish. The Mac version might take me an extra like day or two. So I'll be back later. Peace.